If you're looking for real old school laughs, you're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember Mad Magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today. Happy Hump Day, everybody, and welcome to Midnight's Edge in the morning. I'm Tom Connors. It's that time again for the morning show. As they say, Culture thinks he's at a parade for some reason, and he's the queen.
Admiring the masses as they roll in. So, yeah.
That's right. Hello, everybody out there. Share out that link. Let everybody know that we're live. Hit the like button. Good morning, Andre. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Greetings. I'm excited about everything happening in the news. A lot of exciting stuff with Disney. Audiences and consumers everywhere striking back against companies like Sweet Baby Inc. Well, Sweet Baby Inc. But hey, it's beginning. So yeah, good times.
I agree.
Indeed. So yeah, let's not waste too much time. We don't have a Paul today. What's going on? Where's our Canadian?
I don't know. Maybe he'll show up later here.
There is no
link, right?
There is no Paul.
Maybe he got detained by the police. I mean, he is, after all, in the People's Republic of Canada, and he has been saying some very unsavory things. So you never know.
So he got picked up. Busted. That's probable. Let's see what you guys are talking about out there. We got horseradish power here, sending in 5 pounds. This is on the B-Rock News. The bank have cash to hand for emergency periods, or have cash on hand, I think he means.
Yep.
2-week minimum. Wall Street is looking more and more like 1929, so be careful.
Yep.
I don't have 2 weeks worth of cash. Paul is
neither does Wall Street, so you have something in common there.
True.
Paul is Plain sends 100 new region Corona and says Sweet Baby Inc. detected 187,151 curator followers.
Yes, indeed. Let's see. The number he says, 151. He sent that a few minutes ago. And I'm just going to refresh here, see if that is still the case. No, now it's 187,409. So it has grown by more than 200 since that was sent. So yes, word getting out there. This is beautiful. And to think this wasn't even at 10,000 views 3-4 days ago. So it's beautiful to see more and more people catch on to voting with their wallets, which is basically how you take back entertainment.
Yeah, I think that while there are a lot of naysayers out there, people trying to downplay this and its importance and everything. And look, I mean, maybe they're right, but you shouldn't be downplaying it. I mean, the fact that gamers are now more than aware of these types of entities existing, ruining their entertainment, and the fact that everybody's kind of grouping together to fight against it, this is a bigger deal than you don't let people tell you that it's not working to band together and fight against this garbage. It is, and that's the whole point of this. And people are like, well, they'll just reform and become something else. Okay, and then we'll fight that. The problem is that you can't be a black pill all the time. You've got to take the wins when we get them, and then build upon those. Build upon those.
Yeah,
no, you
exactly.
can't.
You gotta
There
do the
goes
work
my
sometimes and
attitude.
take the victories.
Yeah. Stop it, Tom. Stop
yeah.
it. You
But
got stinking thinking. Yeah.
To add to what you were saying there, I think that is exactly why there are some voices out there in the media who are trying to downplay the significance of this, because it is significant. It is very significant. Just look at what is happening in the tech space. Like I mentioned this now in a couple of videos. The tech space is contracting. One thing is the bloat that you have in the tech space. That's their own fault. That has nothing to do with anything. It only means that everything is super expensive there. They pass those expenses on to the consumers, which means that they can have all that bloat for as long as the consumers are willing to pay for all of it. The problem, of course, comes the moment when consumers no longer want to pay for all that bloat and bullcrap. And of course, that's what the Sweet Baby Inc. in the world are responsible for the customers no longer wanting to buy the shit that various gaming companies are trying to push upon us.
Yep.
And on that note, released from custody is Mr. Chato.
Using the penis cam again. How you doing?
I was writing my appalling news episode and I went, oh shit, it's 12:17. My apologies.
We figured you got arrested.
Yeah, that's what we thought. So yeah, but that appalling news had done a little bit too good lately, and you caught on some people's radars.
Yes.
At least that's the first thing we thought is like, no, he's just probably arrested.
That's right. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, a rebel at heart.
We're just going through the Sweet Baby stuff. We just started actually. So
please continue. That's amazing.
Yeah, we might as well talk a little bit about that since we're on the topic now, Andre. So go ahead and get us deeper into this subject.
Company. Yeah, this is part of the Canadian. I'm representing Canada here.
So you're to blame, as usual.
I'm to blame. There's an awful lot of Canada in Montreal, like Ubisoft, things like that. So it kind of made sense for Sweet Baby to hole up there.
How much Canadian taxpayer money do they get for doing so? I'm sure there must be some kind of government incentives or something like that, because we all pay for horrible, horrible, horrible stuff over our tax bill that we do not want. Like we all sponsor various degrees of terrorism and stuff like that. But how much have you contributed unwillingly over the tax bill to Sweet Baby Inc.?
I would say it's not me. The Quebec government has a massive tax incentive for technology game companies, especially in Montreal. There's a terrific ghetto very close to the bagel places that I like, the St. Viator's and Fairmont Bagel, which are the best bagels, by the way. There's a huge industry, and it's a great area. I mean, it's a very hipster place, great coffee places. It's gorgeous. It's really quite European.
We're still talking about the bagel place that should be sponsoring you, or Quebec?
Yeah.
Yes.
Paul gets all the greatest bagels when he goes downtown, and he gets them.
And it is a technology gulch, a gaming gulch, and again, the Quebec culture is very European, and it does make sense for them to have a shop in there. Now, whether Sweet Baby is also funded from Quebec tax dollars, that I wouldn't be surprised. They'd find some way to finagle that.
Well, I'm sure, because basically it's a pure DEI company. I mean, this is one of the companies that is able to award DEI brownie points. So of course there's going to be like some kind of like straws going into various government taxpayer money there, one way or the other. Because one thing you have like the Quebec incentives just to set up a gaming company there, so they're definitely on the hook for that. And then I'm sure there's plenty of other diversity programs they're on the hook for as well, or that they
that I don't know. My sense is that the Quebecers are quite hostile to DEI. as a population, but again, I don't know how it affects.
Well, I think most populations are. The more they learn about it, the more they're naturally going to be.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I'm naturally hostile towards Canadians, so I understand.
Yeah, and in the case of Sweet Baby Inc., it gives the song "Blame Canada" a whole new meaning.
It does.
But to be fair, though, to Canadians and the Quebecans or Quebecoians or
Quebecers, eh?
Yeah, everywhere. If it wasn't there, it would have been somewhere else.
True.
And indeed, there are many other companies. This is the one that's getting the attention. This is the one that's in the headlines right now. But they're not the only company doing what they do. And this is what people also just need to keep in mind. There are so many others doing the exact same thing, but exposing one, then now we kind of like have the standard. Now all the others, we now have a shorthand for them. Sweet Baby, it's the next Sweet Baby. And then people will instantly know what the company is all about. And that Park Place, they did a great reporting. Of course, they do always do great reporting. I mean, John F. Trent is one of the greatest reporters who are working in the entertainment field this day. And they did another scoop yesterday, where they had dug through some older presentations and stuff. Tom, I'm putting the story in the private chat, where the CEO of Sweet Baby had words for white video game players, the customers specifically. If you can get that up on screen. Basically, what she was saying, and this is something that she said in a conference, so on video, there's no denying that she said this.
Fighting with a cat.
Yeah, she was.
Wants my yogurt.
She was womenizing.
Yeah,
in that conference.
Indeed. And she basically compared white male gamers to picky babies. So
essentially 80% of the audience of gamers.
Yeah, indeed. So, and she also bragged about being a sensitivity reader, which is nothing to brag about, and that she was also qualified to do risk assessment. Something that I kind of question, because if she did, she wouldn't be working in this field. She certainly wouldn't be doing this to paying clients. I mean, did she give any kind of risk assessment to Rocksteady that if you let us work on your Suicide Squad, it's going to tank your studio? Was that part of her risk assessment?
That's funny.
I think two of the founders for Rocksteady saw that she was very risky, and they bailed on their own studio. So
before or after the game came out?
Before Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League came out, as far as I can recall. So
yeah, well, everyone else who's still there need to be fired by Zaslar right now. I do hope there's going to be a day of reckoning in that studio for whoever remains and who let this happen. But moving on with the story, because this then is actually from a talk in 2019. And John F. Trent writes, about 2/3 through the 30-minute presentation, Belair, for it is her name, compared white male gamers to picky babies, saying, I think in our industry and in so many creative industries, if you want to look at film and television and art in any form, we're treating our core demographics as a fixed and static value, something that does not want to change and something that is locked in place. So basically, she's saying that a traditional problem is that they treat the audience as a given, whereas in her world, it would be much better to imagine that they have a different audience than the one that they have, is what I get from that at the very least. And then she continues, so despite the changing face of audiences, and again, this is something that she imagines, where's the proof that the audience is changing face somehow? She doesn't offer any, she just states that as some kind of a fact. Despite the changing face of conferences like this one, we still look at our core demographics and say, okay, they're white, cis, hetero males, and we cater almost exclusively to them. Which is natural, because that's almost exclusively
your audience. Yeah.
And the problem is, we don't just cater to them like, here's something we think you'll enjoy. We cater to them like a picky baby. She elaborated, we feed them the same thing we know that they love, and we keep feeding it. We're like, here you go. We know you love it. Eat this, eat this, eat this.
Pause. I'm going to tell you about a company that started back in, what was it, the 1950s, called McDonald's. They've literally been doing the same damn thing ever since. And they're the most successful restaurant on the planet.
I do believe that basically every company that ever was successful.
No, I know, but McDonald's specifically, like, let's be real here. She's talking about feeding you something, but like, I just think it's a good example. Anyway, sorry, go ahead, Paul.
Saying here, the level of ignorance that she is displaying here is staggering, because what she is avoiding is the fact that all industries are competitive, and the gaming industry has been trying to innovate within its own domain constantly. She makes this assumption that gaming has been locked in amber and has not changed. That is absolutely not true. She is utterly ignorant of the fact that we've been able to play as female characters, as lizards, as whatever it is that you want in games for a decade or more.
I like turtles.
There you go.
As turtles, we could play as turtles. So, I mean, it's a combination of arrogance and ignorance that she is capable of foisting on her audience.
Yeah, but you would assume that some of the executives at these gaming companies aren't idiots, or are they?
And not only that, you can sit there and just turn around and say, okay, now we're this far, because you said this was from 2019, Andre?
Yeah, it's 5 years ago.
So the proof is in the pudding now. What has this done for the system? Because they're literally coming into these companies and going, look, you're not tapping into this whole other audience that you have here. Now, have they brought in this whole other audience? No, because it doesn't exist, as you just said, Paul. Even if you took a whole bunch of these minority audiences and crammed them together, it still wouldn't even come close to like half of your white male audience in most of these cases. Now, again, we're not saying don't cater to anybody else, but clearly if 90% of your audience is white males, then yes, you're going to cater your games to 90% of them being towards white males. You're going to have other stuff. You're going to have your Animal Crossings and your other stuff that appeal to women. And you may have something that may cross into some kind of, and here's the thing I don't understand about gaming. There is no real, as far as I'm concerned, demographic between being white, black, Asian, any other color that changes your, you're not a gamer because you're Mexican, right?
And nobody does that.
Exactly my point. Like, so what in the fuck are they even talking about? They're talking about like the trans, bisexual, that kind of crap is what they're talking about. And they're already so far behind on that shit. You could create your own characters in some cases. And in a lot of cases, it's like, okay, so you're just adding a third option here. Is that it? Like, what is the difference here? What are we doing here? And this is what I remember arguing with some people back with the whole thing, with the pronoun thing in that one video game. I can't remember the name of it now, but
Starfield.
Starfield. Thank you. It's like, have we really gotten to this point where this is so important? Like, I'm more worried about the gameplay. Like, I don't give a shit what the character looks like as long as it looks like the character I'm supposed to be, right? And this stuff is just nonsense. And this goes the same thing across the board with movies and television and everything else. You already have enough problems to fucking deal with. I cannot believe Hollywood is inviting this shit in. It's like, no, please bring us more problems to deal with. It already takes a million things to go right and one thing to go wrong for a movie, TV show, or video game to go off the rails. Please give us more shit to have to worry about. And they're inviting it. And that's what I don't understand. Sweet Baby Inc. is just another one of these companies, like any other company, whether it's women in animation, Sweet Baby Inc., any of these other DEI companies we've talked about in the past. All they're doing is just ruining these companies. It's like, have you replaced your audience yet? No, you haven't. In fact, you've lost half the audience you had to begin with, and you replaced it with this small, insignificant bunch of people at best.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And as for
Tom's awake, sorry.
For the video game company, I think that they also just are responding to corporate mandates.
Yeah, I agree.
that Rocksteady probably were told from Warner, because remember, when was this game started? It wasn't started under Zaslav. It was started under Zaslav's predecessor. And I'm blanking on her name now. Help me out. What was her
Sarnoff?
name?
Oh,
Sarnoff,
Sarnoff,
thank you. Ann Sarnoff. The Kathleen Kennedy of Warner.
And she would love this.
Predecessor. Yeah, she would love this. And she was all about this. And remember, she was the one that that was bringing about the DCU before Zaslav stopped it. So I'm sure that that she would have given a bunch of DEI directives and stuff like that, which probably meant that Rocksteady had to hire a company like Sweet Baby Inc., if not Sweet Baby Inc., then another company just like them, to ensure that they meet their DEI quota in gaming. I think probably that's what brought
Six
all of
just
this
sent
on.
me something here in the background. So this just come out a month ago. Okay. This is, to me, this feels like they're trying to cover some ground for Sweet Baby Inc. before this stuff got worse. New study shows more gamers than ever identify as LGBTQ, but representation lags behind.
Oh, really? Does it now? I somehow find that hard to believe.
Me too. It kind of feels like the Netflix thing, right? It's like, okay, so 0.4% of the population is LGBTQ. We have 0.8% or whatever of our programming is already LGBTQ. We need to do more. It's like you already have more than the percentage that you can cover, right? It's like, what the hell? Or 8% or whatever it is. Yeah,
it's not enough until it's 100%. Isn't that right?
If you've gone to gamer shows and conferences, fan fest like I have, you'll know that you're going to meet a lot of other people who feel that they are outcasts. And
that's
and
most nerds.
Nerds, yes. And there is, I would say that as a percentage of the nerd population versus just the population at large, you're going to get a larger percentage of LGBT.
Well, and here's another thing, Paul, is lately I'm willing to bet if you took a poll of anybody who's under the age of, say, 30, you're going to see a huge leap in the amount of people who think they're bisexual LGBTQ compared to, right?
Well, that's a different, that's
but
social contagion. That's a different topic.
True, but that's where they're going to try and obfuscate this whole poll is what I'm saying too. But yeah, continue. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail you.
No, I'm just saying that, it should have been a better poll is how many LGBT feel they're nerds. That would have been a better.
That's another thing crossed over. Well, they already were, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually has always been one of the wonderful things about the fan fests and the gamer cons, is just this confluence of different outcasts talking about the stuff that they love, and I think the issue here with these gaming companies is that the people who originally created those companies, who would have been programmers, which tends to be the process, they're gone. You would never be able to convince a John Carmack to go along with this DEI bullshit, right? That would be impossible. Gabe Newell from Valve right now is letting they're telling Sweet Baby Inc. That go F off. We're not going to get rid of that forum which lists all the games infected by your bullshit, because Gabe Newell is a gamer and a programmer, and he knows what he's doing, and he's part of the gamer community. They're not convincing anybody within the game community that what they're doing is good. It's just the execs.
I love this. A majority of games lack LGBTQ characters or storylines.
Maybe they don't fit.
And the games only make up 2% of Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo's total digital libraries. Well, this is just kind of like the Netflix thing again. Here we are. I think 4% of the population actually considers themselves LGBTQ.
Actually,
we're lumping a lot of people together.
If it's just
go ahead.
2% of the library, that sounds like pretty perfect representation right there. That
was my point. Sounds like the Netflix deal. Exactly. Yeah.
If you have much more than that, you don't have representation. You have over representation.
Yeah, in Canada, I checked Statistics Canada. 7% of the population is LGBT, is the complete alphabet, the complete Wi-Fi password people, and then only 0.06% are trans, etc.
Yeah, it's such a low percentage of that group. And that's why they have to lump and clump together, right? Because otherwise you're looking at fractions.
But on the other hand, make games that people like, and those individuals will find whatever it is that they find, enjoyment.
And that's the beauty with games, where you can create your own character and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Create your own they, them, and have at it. With the rest of the game being the same. But still, this is the traditional recipe of creating a problem where none exists.
Correct.
And then delivering the solution to said problem.
Well, that's the thing, because I'd like to know how they got these numbers, Andre, because how do they know these characters or anything? Because in most cases, sex does not come up in most of these games. Unless it's that game where you can fuck a bear. Like, I don't understand what the fuck they're talking about, because in most games, it's a non-starter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're fighting zombies or fucking aliens. What the hell's that got to do with what you're putting your dick in?
Well, according to GLAD, a good proportion of those zombies will have to
be gay. Yes,
you, otherwise it's not good enough. I mean, GLAD that's a hilarious company, because they do like these annual reports and stuff like that on LGBTQIAP plus representation in film and what have you. And basically their implication is it's not good enough until every movie produced is 100% LGBTQ.
Correct.
Until that point, that's when they're satisfied. As long as there is one that isn't, it's not good enough. That's kind of like the wording of their annual reports.
And I got to put a warning out there. Don't fuck bears, people. They will kill you. Okay? Just don't do it. I mean, I've never heard of anybody thinking of such a stupid thing to do. Even Winnie the Pooh. Oh, bother. Someone's trying to put it in my bum again. I guess I'll have to maul their face.
I did not need any of that.
But I think, Andre, that is really the secret that you've revealed. Is it's not a question of inclusion. It's a question of they want the entire pie.
Yeah, it's a power play.
Yeah. So back to the Sweet Baby Inc. And I think that's kind of what this... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Culture.
No, I was just saying it's a question of delusion.
Right. And I think that's kind of where that study comes up from. And I'm sure that's the same kind of thing that Sweet Baby Inc. would use. This just reminds me of all that parrot analytics kind of crap that we used to talk about. It's like, sure, I can make a survey that tells you anything you want. What do you need it to say?
Yep. This side scroller doesn't have any alphabet representation.
Yeah.
So they could.
At what point is he going to stop fighting zombies and actually fuck somebody? Are you going to tell me that?
That's right. Bizarre. Keep going.
Well, you see, in the game, he is a zombie fucker, so he's a necrophiliac. So it does fall within the LGBTQ community.
Oh boy.
Oh, nasty.
Well, that's what the next thing is, probably.
Well, either way, shall we move on with
we shouldn't other people who like to fuck corpses, Paul.
I apologize.
Well, no kink shaming. So, but
Andre probably knows a few of them, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, if they do, if I do, they haven't shared that with me.
I know it's just a Norwegian death metal joke, but anyway.
But
back to Sweet Baby Inc.
Yes, back to Sweet Baby Inc. and this quote, because we interrupted to stop there to say basically how incompetent this woman was. Because basically, the last thing she elaborated. We feed them, meaning the white customers, the same thing that we know they love, and we keep on feeding them. Here you go, you love it, eat this, you baby. So then, when they get anything else, they react as a picky baby would, which would be like, oh, no, thank you, I do not want this. And we've actually done this so long that what we're doing is creating an entire nation of picky babies, and they make us scared to deviate from what we actually want to do, just in case these picky babies don't want to play our game. Now, Paul, as a professional entrepreneur, what do you think about this attitude towards the paying audience? Like, for instance, when you do like a web page, the way that your customers want it done, do you ever feel like I should really stop doing this because I might make them picky babies. I'd be much better giving them something else entirely that they didn't pay for. Instead of giving them a web page, maybe I should give them like a NAS server just for shits and giggles.
That's usually how we work. That's why we're successful, is that we don't give them what they want. This is a very arrogant individual who is bullying their way into a community that she's not part of, and she has decided that she is going to but she's going to explain. Well, she's actually, who said it already? Womansplaining what our business should be like and why we shouldn't be enjoying what we're enjoying. Like, what bothered her? Did she have some kind of game freak out and now she's mad at all gamers? I don't know. We should be looking into her psychological profile. What's her background? Was she ever attacked by someone dressed up as Super Mario? Yeah. You know what?
That's the most important part.
I bet you she is.
Yes, indeed. And we have a special guest coming in who actually knows a thing or two about games, unlike me.
No, but again, it's not, as I said in our last episode, I don't blame her or Sweet Baby. It's the people who are hiring them. No one has to hire them. There's no gun to anybody's head saying, please hire this company.
Yeah. Well, not from the audience, but there may be from a corporate point of view.
Sure.
There may be from a corporate point of view. If you don't do this, you don't get your bonus.
Yeah.
I do believe that there is that kind of gun like that going on. Remember, this game was initiated during the Ansarnov years, and I would not be surprised at all if she made it part of the incentive package for the executives under her watch, that these are our diversity quotas. We need this. And if you are in gaming, this is what applies to you. If you are in TV series, this is what applies to you. If you do not hit these goals, we are going to have a conversation about why you did not hit them, and you're not going to get your bonus. Whereas if you do hit these goals, then you'll get a good pat on the head, and you will get your bonus. And if the end product then comes out and crashes and burns, well, you have your defense. You only did what you were told to do. You can just point, well, look, it's right here. It says so in this paper. This was what you wanted. This was Ms. Sarnov's doing. I do believe that's probably what's going on here.
But I think just based on Sarnoff's record of what she's done at Warner, and the kind of anti-male approaches she's taken to the product she's released, not all of them, of course, but I could imagine the two of these people getting together at a party and just having a love-in.
Well, and Joe Juxtapose asks the most obvious question here that some people may not know the answer to, and we have answered this question before, but for people like Joe, real quick, these people confuse me. If they didn't like the games, movies, comics, why did they continue consuming it and then get into these hobbies and try changing them now to be the way they want it to be?
Never consumed it.
They never consumed them in the first place. Exactly it, Joe. And the reason they're using these is so that they can use them as propaganda to push their... Well, go ahead, Paul, if you want to continue.
Well, I was going to say that I did a video on this. They're in this game because us nerds and programmers and created a multi-billion-dollar company that they're business that they want to muscle in on, and they don't like us. They don't like our products. They don't like us, and so they want to change us.
And they have zero respect for what they're changing. Exactly.
Correct.
Yeah. In the end of the day, it's all about the message, as Ken Rieger brings up here. Yes, that's
and it wouldn't be muscling in unless it wasn't a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yeah, it's the quickest way to get eyeballs and ears on your whatever it is you're trying to sell, basically, and that's all these are.
Yeah, please tell me an IP that any of these people have created that has been popular. They are furious that the most popular IPs have been, for the most part, created by straight white males. Then you get this the odd outlier like J.K. Rowling, who they hate now more than anything in the world. These people are in the business of hate. They cannot think of anything else. They're motivated by hate. They want to tear stuff down. They can't build anything of their own of equal popularity.
And I guess I got to play this for you, Paul, specifically for Mr. Tickletrunk. This is the head of Sweet Baby Inc., I guess, or co-founder.
If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years, put this stuff up to your higher ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
There you go. There's the answer to how these companies get involved. Right. So you have people like this who are already activists inside the company who basically are acting like big children to get their fucking way.
And did you hear who she's targeting? Who's her main audience for this? Did you hear?
Yeah,
the marketing directors.
Correct.
If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years,
creative.
Put this stuff up to your higher ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them.
Terrify them.
Yes, and the marketing divisions of many gaming companies have a history of skewing what the programmers are doing. It's a historic battle between the marketing division of these large AAA companies and the people who are actually creating the games. It's historic. So her target are not the creatives, it's the marketing department.
I just can't believe how blatant they are about this. And you know what? All the better for us. But then it makes me wonder what they're hiding. Right?
I would love to know what she did at the AAA game studio. I would love to know what her position is.
Well, she actually spelled it out a couple of different times. I mean, in her Womanize appearance, because she actually went in front of a room of people, an empty room of people, but went into maybe that's a room full of chairs. I don't know. She went in front of a room full of chairs with a whiteboard behind her, I guess, or dry erase board, I'm going to say, because it would have offended her because I said whiteboard. But anyway, she went in front of that empty room of chairs and told them how, she had spent her time spinning her wheels, doing all kinds of bad things, to try to get a leg up in the industry. And she ran into a brick wall. And so she went out to get revenge and started this Sweet Baby Bologna sausage because Gamergate failed and she got stuck and all the other stuff. But anyway,
that makes sense.
And I might be putting some words into her mouth or extrapolating from what she did say. But look, there's actually a lot of hidden groups that she's tied to. There's this group on Facebook called Wings, WIINGS.
Paul McCartney group?
No. And it's got 371 total people in it, and they're all these women and marginalized people that are trying to make inroads in gaming. And now they want to do women-only gaming. And that's what that group is for. So, but there's a lot of these hidden groups. Speaking of hidden groups, there's somebody hidden in the back.
I was just going to say, speaking of women in gaming, actually, considering all of us are a bunch of boomers on this panel. And the sad part is if it's not on the Andre and I have no idea what it is. So let's bring in an actual gamer, and she just happens to be a woman.
What?
Carolyn, how are you? I know, right? According to Lofty, you don't exist.
No, we don't. We definitely don't.
I'm so mad at Yellow Flash.
Fake.
He put that video out and he cuts off where I come in and just knock his ass out. What the?
I have no idea what you're talking about. All I know is I saw.
Oh, never mind. You must not have saw that. Okay, yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, but, Andre. By the way, if you've gotten a bunch of mail in the last few days, it's because I knocked Lofty Pixels out on Saturday night over women in gaming. Because he's like, women don't play games. And I'm like, excuse me. I'm like, yeah.
The thing I think a lot of people don't get about women in gaming, we don't care about having our me as somebody who is not a weak-minded individual, I don't care about having a safe space in gaming. I talk shit back to the guys, and like, you guys did not witness me in my Overwatch days where I was vicious. Like, I was absolutely vicious. People, like, we don't exist. It doesn't happen. One of my best friends from high school definitely isn't a pro CSGO player. So yeah, it's all AI. This woman right here just pisses me off.
If it were all AI, there would be better women in gaming.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
and
definitely.
as somebody who actually comes from the gaming industry, I mean, so yeah, did you have experiences with this kind of stuff inside? You know, like with the whole DEI.
Yes.
Yeah, please tell us. I mean,
They-
obviously, we know the results. I was going to say, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's
No,
hear your
sorry.
story.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, no, let's hear your story and your experiences with companies like Sweet Baby Inc., because they're far from the only one. How does this happen? Where does the mandate to use them come from? And how does it change the course of the company and the games?
The fear of public opinion. Honestly, there was this whole thing that was going on with the angry video game nerd, that we were headed into PAX East, I think, and there was this whole thing going on about well, he does all the, like, because LRG was doing a physical edition of it, and people were attacking them because, like, oh, he's done all of these different kinds of videos that are racist, and he supports the KKK, and
Did
like,
anyone believe that? Did anyone seriously believe that?
I don't know.
Maybe one guy.
All I know, there's people out there that they take anything that you joke about on the internet at face value. They don't have any sorts of sense of humor, and that is a common thing with people who are
angry,
not all there,
mentally ill. Just say mentally ill.
Mentally ill. I mean, It is common, especially those on the spectrum. It is common with those on the spectrum.
Ironically, they are basically what she describes white boys as, funnily enough. Yes. But anyway, continue.
But it is very... They're so afraid of being, like, involved with any of it. They'll either ignore it completely and hope it goes away, like they did with a lot of the whole Doom fiasco, with there being I don't remember what it's called, not DSLR. Guys, DLC. Chat, help me.
DLC.
No, not DLC. Well, there is DLC that wasn't on it. Chat, help me. I know you guys know what this is.
They're gonna catch up, but yeah.
Yeah, I have a headache, so my brain isn't.
No worries. But this thing that you're thinking of, yeah. DERI.
No, not no. It is.
I don't know.
Basically, keeps the game from requiring to be on DRM. DRM.
Oh, free. The DRM. Yeah.
Yes, okay. There was that whole thing. God, I love you, chat. But there was that whole thing where they basically just tried to just sweep it under the rug and never mention it again. And they do that a lot, hoping people will forget. That they either do that or they go the complete opposite side of the spectrum, and they overcompensate completely, which is what they did with my situation. That there was a handful of people on the internet who didn't like me, and they were just like, oh no, bye. We're gonna virtue signal and okay, bye. See ya. And no, I am not going to sit down. I am happily standing right now. I need to stretch, but it was just.
Oh, I thought you were still telling the story for a second there.
No, I took my meds this morning, so I'm a little
but cancel pigishry has become an industry in of itself.
Yes. Yes.
Led by Canadians.
Well, I will say that they were at LRG before all of my stuff went down. They were implementing pronouns in your email signature. Which I will say there was one instance where it did come in handy, because there is somebody with a more feminine name that was male. So I will say it did come in handy for that one instance, because I kept saying she or her, and it was a dude. So, but that was just my personal experience. I don't think it needs to be implemented. It doesn't need to be on my lower thirds of everything that I'm in. But email is email. You can't really see people face to face through email. So if I'm looking at Paul, I obviously know Paul, you are, I don't want to assume. But you are biologically male, correct?
My pronouns are all male.
All male, yeah.
He claims he's married. We've never seen his wife.
No, never.
Never.
You saw her the other day.
Yes, we've obviously seen her a few times, yes.
But it's one of those things where it is starting to seep more and more into, honestly, I think the marketing department, which I was in, is the biggest thing, because they're so afraid of public opinion and not wanting to step on anybody's toes on social media.
So you'd be one of the people that would have been bullied by this individual here into getting into the DEI stuff, basically. Gotcha. Okay, so we know where you came into the mix. So were you experiencing that kind of stuff, obviously, where you were at?
We personally did not. At LRG, we did not have that. There wasn't any, we need more women that work here, or because, I mean, a lot of the games that LRG worked on are games that were already out. They weren't developing their own games.
older games.
Right.
Yes. So it was all physical edition stuff that was already out. There was no actual development of their own. So those kinds of discussions were not happening at LRG.
Right.
So, but at like other companies, other like actual developers, I am not 100% sure. I will probably assume that it did happen. But it's very frustrating seeing that people like this are profiting off of basically inserting themselves in a threatening manner into an industry that they felt that they didn't belong in or have no real interest in. But I don't know. I will be completely honest. I haven't done a whole lot of research. I haven't been keeping up with the whole Sweet Baby Inc. this week with all the Yaira stuff going on. I have not been keeping up with social media. So
no, but it sounds like you got a good grasp of it. And obviously you came from the same world. So
yes.
And not only that, I mean, your obvious, cancellation is a result of these kind of things.
My entire marketing department was women. And that wasn't because we sat down and said, we need women. It was because, hey, this person is good at this job.
I'm actually impressed with that, to be honest with you, because I had, when I went to school, there was no women, right? Like that was the weird thing is like I worked in radio production and marketing and stuff like that. And it was like, there was like 2 women in the whole class and they got jobs before they even graduated. So it's like, because it is at that time such a scarce industry, especially for women.
A lot of women there. Like they had quite a few that were there.
So there you go. There's already been some progress made in obviously the last 20 years. Actually, 20 plus
but they're
years.
Not there because they're women and they felt like they needed representation in the gaming industry. They were there, or they probably are still there, because they're passionate about gaming and enjoy being a part of it. Not because they feel like, okay, I'm going to insert myself into this and then weasel my way through. That way I can get more representation because I need to see myself. These are people that, a lot of the people in the industry are there because we do love it. But there are the select people like these who find a way to weaponize your age, your race, your gender, any of that. And these are the type of people who are ruining the gaming industry. The one who come in and say, hey, if you don't do this, we're going to put you on this list saying that you didn't work with us, so you obviously must be one of these phobes or ists or anything. And that's blackmail, and that's not okay. And obviously I'm a little passionate about the gaming industry.
No, and I'm glad you're here because you're like the perfect person for this, right? Like, and you're right, it is blackmail, and that's basically what that video we just showed, where she was saying is like, we just go to the marketing department, we terrify them into giving them what we want, or to getting what we want. Yeah. Right. And that's literally like just like a step away from blackmail, or it is blackmail, because they're basically saying like, you either do this or we're going to cry racism, or we're going to cry sexism, or we're going to cry whatever istophobism you can put in here.
Jeff says it right. Extortion.
It is. Extortion is a much better version of the word of it. Thank you. Yes.
I'm curious about one thing though, because most of these games, they are years and years in development.
Oh yeah.
And Kara, did you see the effects of any of these big, high-profile projects coming out and then failing because of their diversity, like Suicide Squad, Justice League, or Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League is doing right now, because they were so afraid of everyone. They were afraid of accusations. They were afraid of marketing. They were afraid of the audience. What they should have been afraid of the whole time, as it turned out, was audience rejection, which is what we're seeing right now. Do you have like any kind of notion, any kind of contacts, anyone that would have said, what's the reaction when these games that they're so proud of, where they have submitted to the blackmail, and they come out and they're completely rejected by the audience? What's the reaction to that? Is there any kind of fear response to that?
I mean, with us doing with LRG doing more of the actual oh my god, my brain, with LRG basically being distribution, I wasn't aware of a lot of the, like, they were very selective about some of the games that they chose. There were obviously some brands like Kimco that they have a lot of like long-standing like relationships with, but there are some that a lot of the games that were picked were off of personal preference of the company. Sometimes a lot of it was, do this one game and we'll let you do this other game later kind of thing, to do like a collector's
almost
edition
like
or something.
Disney, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But like there is a bit of that in there, but I don't think with that type of company, I didn't really see it, but I have no doubt in my mind that it was there, because like even I could tell whenever I was interviewing a lot of the developers, they always touched on I wanted this to be diverse. I wanted this to be inclusive. I wanted this. And there were some that were just like, I wanted to make this game because it's something I loved. It's a passion project. Those are the ones that I feel succeeded more numbers wise, and compared to the ones that were your kind of generic kind of games that are just trying to fit every type of, like, hit every checkbox. I don't feel like those really did well numbers wise.
Yeah, but
obviously I didn't know the numbers. I was strictly marketing department. My job was answering social media questions, handling all that kind of stuff. The numbers was nothing that I did. I was just able to see the general excitement on social media of what was actually being talked about. Like, I will say there were a lot of games, like I think like Night in the Woods was one, that it was like super big in the LGBT community because of the story for Night in the Woods. They have like representation and all that. But they were they were super vocal about it on social media, but that didn't come back to sales kind of thing. And like, obviously I wasn't there during the final, I don't know the final numbers because that was during all of my stuff that was going on. So I don't know what the final numbers were, but you could, I just personally felt like from what I saw for social media did not transfer to sales during launch.
No, I would. I obviously
social media does not equal sales.
Yeah, no, because we know that. Like in actual reality, the more diverse and inclusive and accessible to everyone it is, the more it is rejected by the general audience. That tends to be the trend. But just from your experience, or what do you think is the people have been like in Warner and Rocksteady, including the marketing departments, just monitoring the social media traffic around Suicide Squad, and now with Sweet Baby Inc. being used again to attack their game. What do you think is the reaction inside the company, inside the marketing, inside the social media managers, which is what you would have done? Like, if you had been there now, what do you think you would have experienced?
Absolute panic. I mean, a lot of that, like the first thing they do is really just like, okay, don't engage, do not engage with any of this stuff. Like if there was a question that they didn't want answered, they would say they would have you ignore it and hope it went away. And I have a feeling a lot of this with like Rocksteady or whoever with Sweet Baby Inc. is hoping that it goes away. I did say earlier, I haven't really looked at social media to see if any of these brands are communicating with fans that are calling them out. So I haven't seen that, but I have, like, from marketing standpoint, it is panic and fear and probably trying to come up with something big, to like a big announcement to squash the or to basically just move any talk of it along to whatever the next topic is. Because obviously we're in a day and age where attention span is very short. Like people are going to be talking about the Sweet Baby Inc. stuff, like more mainstream, kind of how it is right now, for what, a month, if that. So they're already probably working on some next big announcement, hoping that people will forget. I don't think Sweet Baby will go away. I think that they're probably going to either disband and regroup as a new company. I could see that happening. But in regards to these people, they know how they're fearmongers. They're people who are there to feed off of and profit off of other people's insecurities and their want to be accepted. That is what they profit off of. And so people right now are just too good, and they're too hungry to ignore an opportunity to extort somebody, especially if it means that they can make their mark in the industry. It's just, sorry, my stomach just growled.
No, you're fine.
It's just, I'm so frustrated about it because I want it to go away, because those of us who actually care about gaming don't care about being a woman and being represented. I will say that right now. One of my favorite games of all time is Kingdom Hearts. You play as a dude in that game. How dare you?
The one group that can fight against this maybe better than any is the gaming industry, in that while it takes a lot of resources to make a AAA game, a couple of individuals or even one can make a single AA game. Like right now, one of the top games on Valve is Helldivers. A really simple, popular game.
It's fun.
It's fun, like super, super fun. And And you can do that with the gaming engines, but it's much more difficult as an independent producer of movies because it's still a lot of work. Even though you can make quote unquote a cheap movie, you also have to then get it distributed. Whereas if you've got a game that costs you almost nothing to do except your own sweat, and you put it up in Valve, then or Steam, you've got a chance. You've got it distributed to everybody really quickly, and they can enjoy it and tell other people and make money that way. Unfortunately, the movie industry does not have the same mechanisms available to gamers. But you know, the independent games are now creaming the AAA games. The top game in Steam is not Borderlands. What's the damn? It's Team Fortress 2 Team Fortress 2 for crying out loud. You know, it's an ancient game. Why is it popular? Well, it's the same reason that the streamers, the most popular shows on streamers are the old TV shows. Is because the tried and true is more interesting, better, and is not filled with all this nonsense that Sweet Baby Inc. are filling it with. So gaming is going to come out of this much better than I think the movie industry.
I hope my biggest thing is, especially with a lot of content creation, a lot of streamers kind of help, or they kind of pave the way for how marketing companies or like how PR companies handle certain things.
For good or for bad?
They're trying to cater to the select few streamers, a lot of them, that are in hopes that one of the streamers will pick up their game and make it go viral. Kind of how Among Us was. Among Us was out for years, and then there was a group of streamers that played it and it went nuts. And it's still one of the biggest games. So that is what a lot of marketing companies are trying to do now, is market it as something. I'm not making this for the player. I'm making this for the streamer that will bring us in the most amount of sales.
Eek. That's horrible.
Yeah. Well, let's see what you guys are talking about in the chat here. We got Chaos Sonic 1 who says with $5, Tom, I sent you something on X. I already showed it, but thank you. That should be pointed out. Sweet Baby is not the only company that does this crap. So there are more companies. Yes, there is a list going around, and Chaos Sonic clued me into this, and so did Kitty Bear.
Perfect.
We showed it on screen. So
great. That's exactly what I said earlier. There are more companies doing this, and they all need to be exposed, and people need to stay away from all the games doing this. I mean, gamers, you have the power. It's the easiest thing to do. Just don't pay for them. That's all.
That's Sweet Baby Inc., Black Girl Gamers, Hit Detection, Balance Patch, Silver String Media, Stone Mare Games, Gamer X.
Weird Ghost
Jane
is actually
Mendez, Dragon Baby, Anita Sarkeesian, obviously, Weird Ghost. Yep. Infinite Ammo, Gamma Spot, and Cozy Comic Games.
Quick note on Weird Ghost. That's actually a incubator. It actually provides money to all of these crazy endeavors like Sweet Baby, etc. And of course, it's based in Canada. Thank you. And they also have I think they have like a baby ghost or something too. I mean, it's like these terrible things coming out of Canada that are just destroying gaming are all centralized there.
Blame Canada.
Yeah.
Well,
everything's gone wrong since Canada's come along.
This all seems to be on the same scale as the CRT grifters.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, in the whole idea behind the HRT, Human Rights Campaign, not HRT too, but Human Rights Campaign, the HRC's corporate equity index baloney sausage that Andre was trying to prompt me with the other day. That I was like, what?
Kara's about to say something there. I think were you about to say that your company wasn't even on there, or were you about to say something else?
No, I was just saying I'm glad that I never had any. I'm glad to say I never had any correspondence with any of those companies. It's good. That is good. So they're definitely gearing more toward. But you can. I'm curious as to how many of the big developers they're already trying to. Obviously, we've seen, yeah, we've already seen a lot of them getting their claws into some of the devs. But I'm curious to see who will come out and say, "Hey, we've worked with them," or "Hey, like maybe," or call them out and saying that, "Hey, this is the kind of shenanigans that they tried to pull on us."
Mm-hmm.
I would love, those are the devs that I want to see and that I want to support, is like, hey, like they extorted us or they blackmailed us, and now either you could give in, but I do want to see if these companies are going to start coming out and saying what those behind the scenes conversations looked like.
Well, I wonder how much these things will go away, because that's the question, is as long as there's like social credit score bullshit lingering, I'm not so sure these companies are going to just die overnight. What do you say, Andre? And especially coming
No, they're
from
certainly not overnight. It's going to take a prolonged, concerted effort of the audiences actively voting against it with their wallets, because you have a lot of things which are artificially upholding this, but nothing can compensate for the audience going away in droves and staying away in droves. And the worst thing for this is actually the uninformed or the loyal gamer, the ones that will stick with a brand or a company or a gaming franchise no matter what is done to it. Those people are the worst for that kind of, for the quality, because they don't provide any kind of incentive to do better or to get better. So the only thing that this is going to change is with a coordinated long-term campaign of, if there's a whiff of DEI in it, don't support it.
Yeah, I totally understand that, and I see where you're going.
Like, it needs to have like basically zero sales. I mean, I don't know how much
we need to have a lot more Suicide Squad situations, basically.
Yes, and even that one, it sold too much. But basically, that's what we need. Every single game. No one should be there day one. No one should pay to pick them up. Basically, look at the list. Look at the that you just presented here of all these games, which people should just say, okay, fine, that's a game that is instantly stricken from the list. There is no need to check it out. Move it on. Don't contemplate. Don't try it. Ignore it completely. Find something else. Do retro gaming. Do whatever. Just do not support it with your money, and keep doing that for several projects in a row. Just look at the MCU right now. It took 5 years of flops, but now apparently things are changing. I believe that when I see it. But basically, it's going to take years of non-stop back-to-back failures. At that point, they really can't afford doing this, and there's no one that can artificially support it. At that point, they have no other choice but to walk away from it, because all of the CEOs and everything pushing for this, everyone giving the corporate mandate, it has to go enough through the system that they're all removed. It has to go so far that, okay, if it's a Ansarnov pushing this, well, Ansarnov has to be removed. Does the person coming after push it too? Well, that person has to be removed as well. It's going to have to go through the entire system several times over. That's the kind of failure we're talking about here. That's the only thing that's going to change this. Everything follows the money. Follow the money, but also let the money lead the way. And you can withhold your money, and that's what you have to do. That's what every gamer collectively has to do.
You're so much better at wording your thoughts than I am.
That's why he's the boss.
Yeah. I am not an eloquent person with my words. I say, hey, this is stupid, or hey, this isn't good. And I need to get better at that.
Welcome I speak at the English good. Yeah.
He's speaking the English better than I do. Well, that was always one of the running jokes for the longest time, is that that he speaks the best English around here and knows. I usually go to him.
You're a lot more eloquent with your thoughts, and I am not very good at laying them out on a table. I'm trying.
Well, what's funny is when I have to correct
I'm so frustrated.
American speaking, it's not really correcting him because I'll have to go to him and say, look, I'm sure you're being grammatically correct, Andre, but if you say it like that, you're going to confuse a lot of people. He's like, but that is correct. I'm like, I know, but
confuse Americans by using proper English.
Exactly. That's what I tell him. I'm like, and it's happened a few times. I'm like, but if you say it that way, they're going to think you mean this because of just the way we talk around here. And I'm like, yeah, you are speaking proper English though. But anyway, speaking of proper, we have Dr. Long Dongler here sending us a thumbs up for £1.99. Pound that like button, please, please, please. Helps us out here. Stone Racket sending us in a pair of super stickers. In fact, he sends us a little kitty and a little Shiba dog. Thank you so much for the super stickers, Stone Racket, and the support. We appreciate that. And then we've got, let's see here. Let's get on to some of the specific stuff when it comes to this kind of stuff. This is kind of overall over the industry, whether it's no matter what it is. Bucky Cat sends in 20 and says, don't know if you heard, but BlackRock sent out an email to their investor fund holders asking what approach would they be taking in investing, i.e. ESG, shareholder primacy, etc. I voted shareholder primacy.
Bucky Cat, can you forward me that email?
There you go.
I would love it if you could forward that to me. Andre at midnightsedge.me.
Culture had a video I saw on BlackRock's financial situation.
I was just going to turn it over to him.
Yeah. And it's the same thing that Andre covered a couple of days ago because we both read the same series of articles. But BlackRock is definitely quite aware of the fact that they're very open to investors going at them right now for misdirecting their dollars in pursuit of politics rather than profits. I mean, that's what they're there for. That's their primary goal. Fiduciary duty isn't just a fancy word. It means things. It also means that you can get in trouble if that's not your pursuit.
And that's sorry, carry on.
No, please.
Yeah.
I used to
the interesting thing with
the family fiduciary.
Yeah. With BlackRock is that they are terrorizing the world and bringing forth all this DEI, ESG, using your money, not theirs. It's your money. It's your pension funds that they're using to muscle industries around with their mafia tactics. So absolutely, vote shareholder primacy. And in the meantime, I mean, if you do investments, it's very difficult to get away from BlackRock. But try, if you have an option, try to let basically anyone else manage your pension fund other than BlackRock or someone working for them. Because as it is right now, they're going to be investing into ESG, meaning they'll be flushing your money down the drain. We don't do any financial advice here, of course, but that's something worth looking into.
One thing we do is super chats, though, and Graph Web sends in $2 and says, #cancel Disney Plus.
Yeah, we'll be talking some Disney Plus afterwards here, in addition to everything else, Bob Iger and stuff. So that'll be fun.
HyperGuyver2 says the current head of Marvel Comics came out and called us the displeased audience, cretins, proving that Marvel is a lost cause. Well, we knew
I believe this is Tom Brevoort, isn't it? Who basically went out and said, oh, you used the term woke about comics like X-Men. Well, then you're the problem and you're a cretin. Yeah. And in the publishing side, I do believe that you need to fire 90% of everyone working at Marvel, up to and including the editors, because that's where the real problem lies. And Tom Brevoort would be part of that problem. I may do a video about that specifically because it's just so out of touch.
Indeed. And Chaos Sonic 1 sends in 10 and says, so here's his more information on Sweet Baby. Apparently, it was funded from the company that Alec Halawaka's, I can't say that, company, aka the guy that Zoe Quinn Minecrafted via false sexual acquisitions.
Oh, wow, that far back.
That guy, okay. Then he goes on to say, for another 5, she also advocated people to threatening, I think he means, and blackmailing others to make companies fear them. Sarcastic, so progressive. Yeah, I mean, I don't know all the ins and outs of the whole Gamergate business, but I do remember some of that stuff. Yeah, and this is clearly stemming back to that. Yeah. And then another one we got on the games frontier, Shadow Dance of the Red Mage says, games are designed around drive, competition, achievements. These attract the audience that has demographics. Sweet Baby and other audience replacements initiatives are trying to wag the dog. Yeah, I can see what you're saying there, Shadow Dancer. Then we got
So
Gladiator.
you know that that in that previous super chat where they were talking about Alec Halakwa?
Yes.
That was the creator, I believe, of the Night in the Woods game. And I know there was a lot of discourse online about that because fans were trying to get them to remove his name from the credits of the game because of all of that accusation. And it's just
wow. Even though he worked on the game.
This is the power. Yeah. This is the power that they
literally want to erase you. Yeah.
They do. If you have even, you wouldn't even have had to scorned anybody. Somebody could just have looked at you wrong and thought up this crazy thing in their head about you. I mean, a lot. There are some things going on out there that some people with schizophrenia have actually, I've witnessed it myself. People with schizophrenia or psychosis they have these whole stories in their heads. And I'm not saying that this is
they've convinced themselves, basically.
They've convinced themselves that something bad has happened to them. And I'm not saying that this is the case with Alec, but I have experienced this myself, that somebody has they have convinced themselves that that this happened and that you are the cause of this, and therefore they want to ruin your life. And they will go out of their way and they will try to come up with the most outrageous things that they can say. And they will start these online campaigns, even if it's real or not. And people won't even try to verify. They just trust that this person is right. And they're just going to take their word and they'll go with it. And that's not okay.
The guilty upon accusation.
Yes, there's no more. There's no more there's no trials
due process or anything like that.
Yeah, there's no due process. There's no trials. There's no actual investigation. It's just, this person hurt my feelings, or this person may have hurt somebody else's feelings, so let's erase them.
Their presence just threatens me. That's another thing. Yeah. It's like, what did they do to you? Nothing. It just, their presence makes me uncomfortable. It's like, okay, so you don't like them. Tough shit. That's not the way the world works. You got to deal with it. But anyway, that being said, it's just like, yeah, it's insane that people are following along with these games. So instead of the people that should be just removed because they're crazy and they cannot obviously function in a work environment, it's just, and the fact that they're pandering to these people is even more insane. Like, and we know because you're a victim of this very thing, where somebody decided that, we're not comfortable with you being a part of this gaming company, and they dug through your past to try and find anything they could that even remotely looked like it could be out of place, and they used it against you, and that's exactly how they do this shit. And it scares me because these are the same people that try to claim that history has been whitewashed and all this other bullshit, yet they are literally trying to erase people from history in living time.
Right? Rewriting history. That's
and rewriting it all at the same time.
It's
like, whoa, hold up. You can't be doing that shit. So I don't know. That we definitely need to put a stop to this. So I'm glad it's becoming more and more talked about, even though I'm not a gamer.
To stop incentivizing and empowering people with mental illnesses. That is the thing. We need to stop empowering them. We need to stop giving them the power that they want, or the attention that they crave. That is a lot of it. Is these people are just, they're either hurt, they're lonely, or they're mentally ill.
So what's this thing you sent me in the background here, Kara? Is this
that is an article that Kotaku just released about they're defending Sweet Baby Inc.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm shocked.
We were talking about that earlier, that this is bad. So now the people trying to defend this as nothing is coming out. That's when you know it's bad, when the forces are out on the defense.
Oh, Kotaku. I mean, there's the whole running gag in gaming that Kotaku has no like journalistic integrity. Like that's a whole thing that nobody trusts Kotaku.
Well, they're an establishment rag, only specialty gaming, so of course they have no integrity.
What bad actors think companies like
the same person that came after me that wrote this? Hold on.
It is.
Oh, so it's someone that's come after you before.
Alyssa Mersanti.
I am almost positive that this person she commented on my Twitter and was calling me like a pick-me girl because I was hanging out with people in this community. Oh. Yep. Yep.
Fuck that twat.
Let me know in the private chat what she said to you, because I can add that to the video that I will now have to change, but that's in the making.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And with that, let's move on.
I'll try to find it. It's been a while.
Oh, and they put it right here in the article. Like, so how are they not doing exactly what we're claiming they're doing? Sweet Baby Inc. at its core is a narrative development company that means anything from script writing to narrative design to narrative direction to story reviews. One of the things that we offer is cultural consultations or authenticity consultations. For us, that generally means that we might be asked to look at a story if there's a character in it who's marginalized in a certain way, and the studio wants us to connect them with a consultant who can bring in a little bit more of authenticity. But the perspective is never that we're coming in and injecting diversity. For the most part, it's the reverse. It's that the company has bullshit. You had your fucking shit come out.
They're lying.
Full of shit. We just saw the video.
Kotaku's lying. They're running cover.
Liar.
Oh, this person in particular is
well, this is a person. This quote I just read is supposedly somebody from Sweet Baby Inc. Right? And we just
they're saying that they spoke with them. I'm looking at her Twitter right now. So
well, we know it's pure nonsense because we just watched the video. I don't know if you were here yet when we watched it, Kara, but that was kind of the whole conversation came off of, was that she basically said that that's what they do. They go in and they terrorize the marketing department until they bow down to this shit.
Mm-hmm.
She literally said that. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but it wasn't even much worse than what I made it sound like.
Quite the paraphrase there.
It wasn't.
People are already commenting that article and that video into the Kotaku post on social media. So this is good. So they're already posting that article about how to urge employees to terrify video game companies. So.
Yeah, and I have a video that's almost ready to go that I'm now going to rework into anti-Kotaku here. And we got a massive
holy crap, holy
Jay sending us $100. Thank you, Jay, the sponsor of this video or this stream, saying, I stopped working at the hospital almost 10 years ago. We had a lot of teens and 20s with mental problems and that were off themselves seals. Plenty of adults too. But it was more than the system could handle. It was little things like being unfriended on Facebook up to serious stuff. Yeah, and here's like the thing. When you treat a generation like they're fragile, they become fragile. When you try to protect, but it's true, because this is basically how people have been raised for the last 20 years or so. They have been raised to be so unbelievably sheltered. They've been raised as if they were breakable. If you treat someone like they're breakable, they're going to be breakable. If you treat someone like they're a baby, they're going to be a baby. You get what you give.
Yeah, Abigail Schreier, I can't remember her last name, I think has written a book on exactly that. Never have more kids been psychoanalyzed by their parents and by the schools themselves to try to detect things like ADHD and make corrections for them, as opposed to just leaving the kids alone and letting them evolve over time, sometimes for good, sometimes for bad. Some people just take more time to get their lives sorted out, but everybody wants the instant fix, right? And kids are being drugged. We know that. over medicated, and a lot of this all has to do with parents.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm sure that you have more ADHD and various kind of like specter disorders and stuff like that now than ever before in recorded history. You know what? I think that we always had that. I don't think that is something new. I think that's always been there. But everyone that had that before, most just learned to cope
exactly. And I think I'm one of those people, Andre.
Right.
Whereas now you get all kinds of special treatments, get really highlighted. You do everything to get treatment for it. It's just singles out
coddled.
how different you are. You would call, and it makes it worse.
Well,
Whereas
I think
I'm
coddled is kids are being told that they're damaged.
Yes.
And even if they're not explicitly being told that they're damaged, by putting them through all these tests and things, they are going to come to the conclusion themselves that, wait, is there something wrong with me? Why am I going through all of this? So just the process of doing it is causing huge harm to children. We did 2 tests for our kids when they were young called the marshmallow test. Do you guys know what the marshmallow test is?
Yeah, I think you brought this up before, but go ahead. It's a good example.
So you like at 3 years of age, you put a marshmallow in front of them and you go, I'm going to leave the room for 15 minutes. And if that marshmallow is still there, then I'm going to give you like 5 more marshmallows. Our daughter passed, our son didn't. And that was the only test we needed. We knew we were in deep shit with our son.
Well, and see, growing up, I had issues. They couldn't figure out what it was. I didn't get coddled through my issues, though. I mean, I got treated like any other kid would with behavior issues, but the doctors and everybody else were still trying to put their finger on what it was. And yes, certain teachers in other ways found ways around my issues, and they worked with me, and I was able to thrive in certain places. But then you come, 20 years later with my son, who is diagnosed autistic, and I'm sitting here in a meeting because of his behavior, and they're going on about this and that and the other, and I finally just had to go timeout. And they're like, what? And I'm like, if this was any other child that wasn't my kid that has this problem, what would you do? And the principals said, well, they would be, suspended or whatever, I said, exactly. You guys are letting him get away with murder. He's not learning anything. You're letting the disability get in the way of his bad behavior. It's like, it's one thing to say, okay, yes, certain times, certain things are part of that, but he's using it as an excuse, and he's manipulating you people. He's not that bad. He just knows he can get away with murder because you guys have let him get away with murder, and he's just going to keep doing it and using it as an excuse. And you're right. Whether they're aware of it or not aware of it, this has become an epidemic and a problem. And I think a lot of kids that do need help are getting lost in the shuffle.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the people who really do need help are being forgotten in the mass, attack on a bunch of children who have only growing up problems, and they're not severe, and they need to find their own path. This is the big issue is that the kids who really do need help are now being ignored because now they feel every kid has to go through.
And to put a button on that, when my kid finally got into a special school that helped him with his specific needs and worked with him directly, he thrived, right? He was one of the best kids in the class. And in fact, the kids that would act out, he started being one of the better behaved kids because he noticed their behavior. So yeah, in the end, it did work out pretty well. But at the time, it was a struggle. And I can imagine what my parents went through with me. It's the same kind of thing. But yeah. And Jay, thank you so much for this donation. And
wow.
Yeah, I can imagine what you're talking about here. It's becoming a problem.
Yeah, indeed.
Too many coddled kids.
Yeah, and I still say, yeah, of course, you have I'd say you fundamentally have 2 kinds of mental disorders. One are the ones that you actually can get by with an understanding family, patience, and just working with yourself. And you may have a diagnosis, but it's not going to matter because it's not going to change it because you can work through it. And I think that's most. And then there are the ones where you really can't function, and that's a different matter entirely. But I think that much of the former this day and age are getting more attention, and because of that additional attention, it's actually being made worse than it otherwise would have been.
And one of the things that they've found is that whenever there's a mass tragic effect, flying in grief counselors has not helped at all.
No, I was always curious about what the hell are they going to do?
Nothing. Well, everyone thinks it's going to help, but time is the greatest healer.
Yeah.
We used to say time and talk, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk. Yeah. I agree.
And a slap up the side of the head saying, "Get over it, you stupid."
I have another one. Walk it up. Surprisingly
yes.
effective.
Rub some dirt on it and go on with your day.
We're not saying that, like abuse is okay, but yes, kids have gotten so coddled in the last 40 years. And I'm part of this generation, right? Because my generation was the start of the participation award generation, right? And they needed, we needed that competition. And slowly, as I watched, through my kids' generation and the generation before him, they started to just get more coddled and less competition and more about all this other bullshit. And it's like, I could see some of those problems coming ahead of the game, but I did not foresee as bad as this was getting. And we've gotten to a point now where it's just
through their children.
Yes, that's another problem too.
And it was always fun, being in amongst a bunch of parents and everyone is heralding the accomplishments of their kids. And just for fun, I would say, wow, our 2 kids are worthless. And they were utterly shocked that I would say that. I went, oh yeah, you got to meet my kids. Oh, they're not going to do well at all.
Oh, I was a realist with my kid too.
Say that.
Some people would look at me the same way. And it's like, no, I'm not going to fucking candy coat it. It's tough having kids, and it is what it is. But it's our job to make sure they don't turn out to be complete assholes.
Well, my saying is, my parents fucked me up, and I have every right to do the same thing.
Exactly.
That's an excuse. That's victim mentality. A lot of it is victim mentality. They say that they have one thing or this thing happened to me, and so they expect special treatment.
But that's also part of the competition, because now their friends are now using that, so they want to keep up with the Joneses, right?
They constantly try to one up each other. Correct. So this thing is wrong with me, or this thing is wrong with me. That's and then you have friends that are only talking to each other when something bad happens, and they're not celebrating the positive things that are happening in life.
Correct. Yeah, and their big news is, hey, I self-harmed today. What? No, that's not a good thing.
I got a new therapist today. That's
I changed my therapist today. That's
which I'm sure there are some times when that is great and needed, but most of the time, walk it off works surprisingly well.
And I'm not saying to not have empathy or compassion for your friends, but just be aware that if it starts to become like a reoccurring thing and you're starting to notice it more, just be careful.
Yeah, you're right.
So, because life is tough. That's it's as simple as that. Life is not easy, but I think that makes us stronger, especially if we kind of move past a lot of our difficulties that we've had in life. And that can be inspiring for those who are kind of in this bubble of negativity, and they're like, I want that. Like, provide that. But just be careful.
Yeah, I admitted in a video that I was a needy person, and how that manifested itself. When I was young, I was a liar because I was needy, and but it was always small lies. Like if someone said, "Oh, did you read that book?" I'd go, "Oh yeah, I read that."
Yeah.
And then, well, what'd you think
little
about
white
it?
lies?
Many
the harmless
times.
Ones.
Correct,
yes.
But they add up, and they were debilitating for me. And it wasn't until I built my own business, and I mean, it's a long story, but not until my mid-40s did I fully feel that I was completely cured of this neediness issue. Now, where it came from, blah, 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 that's another story. But we all have problems, and sometimes they last longer than most people think. And if you don't have them solved by your 20s, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're bad. Maybe it just takes some more time. And we shouldn't all think that an instant fix is required.
No, I turned 32 this month, and I do not have my life all figured out, and that is perfectly fine.
And that is also perfectly normal this day and age. I mean,
we're having
30 is the new 17.
Andre, so, what's left on your psychological profile that needs fixing?
For me, that needs fixing?
No, that you feel inadequate or shame or you want to deal with. We're all confessing now.
Okay, yeah, fine. My problem, I'm horrible at follow through. I'm great at beginning things, and I'm really bad at following through. That's something that I still need to work up with. Other than that,
that's not bad.
I don't really have like any like major. I've never kind of, the issues that I had I sorted out. Yeah, I sorted out a long time ago.
Mine is, I think I'm too non-confrontational.
Yeah. I highly recommend being a little bit dead inside. Don't be too emotional. Don't get too worked up. I mean, people, they tell me all the time, you're dead inside. You don't show any joy, enthusiasm. My wife tells me all the time, like, our kid did show some emotion. I'm like, fine, go, brilliant. Like,
so you're George Lucas
at this age. So, yeah. But anyway, I highly recommend not being too emotional and just be a little bit emotional blunted, because everything is easier that way. And I still feel I'd love being that inside. It's my favorite thing in the world to be. And everything is better Andre, that way, and you don't get too worked about anything.
I got to give you a little bit of advice, though. Your wife is right. You just pretend and buy some chocolate ice cream, because the next time you piss her off, you're going to need it. Because
you're not supposed to know that.
I know a lot of things. I've pissed a lot of women off.
Yeah. And I'm not saying
learning curve.
I'm not saying to be dead inside. I'm saying that understand that, like, if you're feeling like overwhelmed or something, you may need to like figure out your coping mechanisms. You need to figure out how to cope. You need to figure out how to
that's what I mean.
Not let it completely ruin your day or something like that.
Take a step back and breathe. It's not so bad. It's not panicking. It's not going to solve anything.
Live in the moment. You can't do anything about the past, and you can't control the future.
Don't worry about stuff that you can't control. It was actually some really solid advice in a movie I saw, a Russian movie about, I forget the title right now, but it was about a Russian movie about the first man to the move to space. Great movie about Gagarin. It's just called Gagarin. And basically, so you then have the Russian Yuri Gagarin. He's in the Russian space shuttle, and he's about to be blasted off into space. And he's like asking the guy, like, am I going to be fine? Is this safe? And he said, I'm going to be honest. There's a fair chance that this thing is going to blow up and you'll die without knowing whatever hit you. But you know what? You can't change that. Ain't nothing you can do about it. So just worry about the stuff that you can control. You can't control this. Don't worry about it. That's good advice.
Yep. That is really good advice. I like that.
Yeah. Culture, you look like you wanted to share something as well before we move on here, because we have plenty more super chats.
No, I was just going to say we turned into a therapy session from a conversation about BlackRock and Sweet Baby. So well done.
Well, here's the thing. We actually do better therapy right here than what Sweet Baby Inc. is doing, because they are also doing therapy, and they're doing it on Warner Brothers and Rocksteady's expense and to the annoyance of everyone else.
It's really expensive therapy. Anyway, I was baffled that we'd shifted.
That's what $100 super chat can do. So,
it did a good job. It was awesome. Thank you, Jay. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. I want to make sure he got his $100 worth.
He did.
The Jinx one sends in $1.99, says, what Marvel movies shows Iger quietly canceled? Yeah, this came out recently. And as I've been pointing out to people that have been going, but Warner Brothers and Zaslav have been canceling, and they're just destroying Hollywood. Like, you mean like every other fucking studio has always done? Do you think this is the first time a project has ever been canceled or a project has been shelved? No, it happens every year. You just don't hear about it. The only reason you're hearing about it now is because you've had two projects where you've had people who are basically what we've been talking about for the last, almost over 90 minutes now, bitching because they worked so hard on a project that sucks that nobody's going to see now. Because guess what, guys? We read the leaks last night of the Acme movie. It sucked. After about 10, 15 minutes, it gets stupid as hell and goes off on this tangent forever into stupidity. And it's like, oh my God, now we can exactly. And like it basically what I said was true. If this leak is accurate, basically this only lasts for about 10, 15 minutes. And then the joke gets old because that's the whole story is they're trying to get him out of the courtroom because there's only so much you can do in the courtroom. And the whole thing becomes this other story after a while, and it's like, okay, this is not fun. After reading it for a bit, we're just like, oh God, now we can see why nobody wanted this thing. But anyway, yeah. Point being, every studio, in fact, Disney did it to a bunch of shit last year. Willow and all those other shows that they pulled down. That I think that Goonies show was one of them also that was part of that. There was a bunch of Turner and Hooch, Mighty Ducks, all pulled down. Those were ones they already released. Who knows what they didn't release?
We know.
Who knows what they didn't release, right?
Yeah.
Because we never heard about it.
The only thing that they canceled that we know of was Wonder Man. That's the one and only we know has been canceled. Everything else we have not yet had confirmed is kind of like they needed to have canceled a ton of more things, and maybe they will. But so far, only Wonder Man, and that's not enough.
Yeah, we don't know actually unless something comes out here in the next few days. We have no idea what shows they canceled because, like Bob said, they kept it under wraps.
Yeah, just
and unless somebody comes out, and the point I brought that up for, is unless somebody comes out and complains, like the people behind Batgirl or Acme versus or Coyote versus Acme, basically, we'll never know what they were. So, could have been a bunch of stuff. I'm sure one of them might even be that National Treasure show and some other stuff that. Yeah. Or did that actually get released?
No, that got released. And Callum Lyle says for $5, if someone went up to an actor or a nay actor, like let's say Mark Hamill, and said, "You're dead to me," what would happen next? Well, that actor would cry inside. I don't know what else would happen. Maybe
they'd probably be rude to you.
World.
What'd you say, Paul?
I was just saying, and Mark would go, "Oh my God, you're the most important person in the world."
He'd probably have a good cry about it on Twitter, I should imagine. Go complain about MAGA supporters or something like that. That's.
I know what Nerd Erotic would ask him.
Yes, about his granddaughter.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I had to look that up.
Oh, you didn't know about that?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah. Gladiator versus. Go ahead.
Yeah, Gladiators versus Hollywood says for 14 South African rounds, audiences have finally outgrown the woke jihadists. Well, I don't know about outgrown, but they've certainly gotten fed up with and gotten wise to. And some audiences have, not many enough, but step in the right direction. Step in the right direction. So that's the beauty, that genie is not going back in the bottle again. And here is an interesting one. Ace 1589 2001 says for $10. One, Sarnov was the one who canned the real Arkham Knight sequel because it didn't have the message.
Wow.
See there? That's what I kind of like thought it would have been coming from her office. So I do believe that the whole Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. That's on Sarnov's ghost coming back to haunt them. And two, S. Bink is also responsible for Starfield and Spider-Man 2. S. Bink, you know who S. Bink is? Is this the guy you were talking about?
Sweet Baby Inc.
Ah, of course, Sweet Baby Inc. How did I not see that? Yes. Indeed, that's on the list of things that they're responsible for. Then Ace has also been a member for 9 months, and we thank you. Kathleen Modison has been a member for 13 months.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Tom has a question for the panel. Is Tom Sam Kinnison's lost child?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. There we go. Then we have from the Rumble side of things, Mr. Tickletrunk saying for $5, gamers have been truly inclusive forever because we're nerds. We love when you people want to experience what we like. The issue has always been grief tourists coming in, yelling, mine, and to make changes. Yeah, indeed. And he also says for another $2 on the Rumble side, Mass Effect is a good example to talk about representation. Most of the people who made a female Shepard are male. Most of the lesbian storylines chosen were by males. Representation is all BS. And on that note, Callum Lyle adds in for $2 Australian. Gay women are only good at destruction. Well, I don't know about all.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. You have to include field hockey.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lesbians that work in construction, I'm sure.
Yeah.
No.
But I would say that they're a very good tool for Kathleen Kennedy to use, though, for destruction, but that's not the gay women themselves doing it. Callum Lyle also says for $5 Australian, since she hates white people, why doesn't she leave the country? Well, because she'd rather change it to her liking, I should imagine. And that's what most of these activists are doing, trying to change the country into something that they like. That's not something that you like. YK Penguin says for $4.99, am I the only one feels funny while BlackRock tried to force the change? The person who talked about it is an old white dude. Yeah, of course, you're talking about Larry Fink, the head of BlackRock, and the video that we have posted several times as well, where he is at New York Times Deal Book Summit, I believe that's what it was, and he talks about how you have to force change, and BlackRock uses money to do it, to force representation. Is it weird that he's an old white dude? Well, I have to watch my words here. I'm not going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole. Let's just move on from here. And Umrete says for 10 Bulgarian florins, we just wanted to play video games. Sega! Indeed, play some Sega games.
Well, we need to take a break here because we're losing 2 panelists. Just real quick, but thank you, Umret. Did I say that right?
Umreta?
I did see that Mexican Iron Man had a super chat towards me.
Okay. I was wondering.
Let's jump towards that one.
Even though it says Lara,
it's Mike. Come on, it's on
$9.99 for the Mexican Iron Man himself. That's right. Lara MLB announced that you can now play as a woman. Are you excited to be seen as a woman playing Major League Baseball wearing a San Francisco outfit? Wait, there's women in baseball now?
They added that. But I would be interested if they went off of actual statistics of women's speed, strength, all that kind of stuff. They would still never be picked. And like they're wanting to integrate these women, and it doesn't fit for Major League Baseball.
Are they really doing this in real life, though?
I think they are. I think I saw that MLB is actually adding the ability to play as a woman in the game.
First time one of them gets beat with a ball. Oh, no.
I will tell you, I've never played MLB and said to myself, well, obviously, I don't ever really play MLB anyway, but I'd never be like, man, I want to play as a girl so bad in this sports game. No.
That would make you pick it up, though, right? Right?
No.
Oh. It's they're like, my thought process is they're trying, like, the sales aren't doing well right now. So for the MLB franchise, they are constantly in the dollar bin at GameStops. But I have a feeling this is them trying to get more sales out of it. So I think that's all it is them trying to get.
I think Paul and I are laughing at the same thing. Sorry, we're not laughing at you, Carrie. We're laughing at, I think Monkey Jeebus is down here. A league of their own, but with guys too.
Yeah, definitely.
So, okay, so people are saying, no, this isn't actually happening in the real MLB. Because I was going to say, yeah, real women would get demolished in the real MLB unless they were trans anyway. Like, what the hell? And so this is part of the game, and they're thinking that this...
So what they could do if they wanted to bank off the idea of having a women's baseball game. Fast pitch softball is actually really entertaining to watch.
Oh, yeah.
I watch it. Do that. Do a collegiate, kind of like how they had the NCAA basketball games. Do that for collegiate fast pitch softball. That is an option.
A lot of these
I need to look at this from
you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
I do. Looking at this from the male perspective, as somebody who actually plays the game, MLB the show, like I have like lots of them actually.
Well, I was going to say, I think Kara said it right up front when she said, I don't play it, which is indicative of probably most women in general. And that's why I asked her, well, now that there's a woman in there, are you going to pick it up now? She's like, no. Well, that kind of made my point, but go ahead, Culture. I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's all right. So this obviously the digital deluxe edition came across my timeline feed on my PS5 store, right? And I was like, well, let me look at this. And then I was like, oh. And then I read the article from The Verge, and I went, oh. And look, I mean, if they get the jiggle physics right, I might sign up for this.
I want a women's softball game with jiggle physics. Now you're talking.
I'm just saying, but look, no, I may actually not buy this game right away. And normally I'm one of those guys that like step up to the plate and spend $100 to get the best version of the
deluxe
game.
edition.
That's right. Yeah. And it's just because I love baseball so much, but and I don't get a chance to watch sports anymore. So not that I would. I mean, most sports is ruined now with politics, but this is actually ruining my video game with politics. So I don't know that I'll give them any money ever again. We'll see. But look, if I see the gameplay and they have the jiggle down and the wiggle down, I'm on it.
Well,
I'm on it. I'm all for it.
Crude statements aside, in all reality,
it's crude.
No, I know we're being facetious, but
also not.
I can't believe that. I know you're being honest. Yeah. I still can't believe though that women's softball isn't a professional sport already. See, this is the problem here, right? Instead of them going, well, we need more women in men's sports, we need to go ahead. Culture, Jesus.
Can I say this?
Go ahead,
please.
Yeah, go for
it. It doesn't make any money. It's like
I bet you women's softball would.
No, WNBA makes no money.
Did I say women's baseball? No, I said women's softball. Big difference. See, and this is coming from somebody who grew up with a dad who was a coach of women's softball. My mom played it a lot. I knew a lot of people playing it. My formative years were around it. I mean, to me, this is what I was getting at earlier, is like there's sports that men and women both play, but in most cases, there's different versions for the very simple fact that we are built very differently. Otherwise, there are sports that are geared more towards men and sports that are more geared towards women. It's just the way it is because of the way our bodies are built, right? And women's softball is extremely popular.
Yeah.
Go Culture.
Wasn't finished.
Go ahead,
I
Culture.
just want to. I'm sorry, Tom. I hate to disassemble your argument, but are you saying that there are a bunch of closeted male women's softball fans out there that are going to jump?
Do you see the ratings on the college softball when they're on ESPN?
No, but I don't.
Then check it out, and then you'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay,
because I know what my dad watches, and I know what men watch at the bars.
All right, they watch women's softball.
They will. Yeah. They like watching their bums.
No, we had it on. Like last time I went home. Last time I went home for my sister's wedding, there was a bar down the street from my brother's house that we went and had lunch on, and the only thing on the TV that weekend was that big women's softball tournament that was going on.
That's the World Series or the women's whatever they call it, the NCAA championship or whatnot. But
I would watch combo roller derby softball. That's what I would watch.
And I am trying to leave out all the ones that are saying you're right, Culture, just so I look more right. Okay, so.
But okay, so all right, so from the Athletic, okay, the 2023 World Women's Championship, whatever softball thing, only drew an average of 1.6 million viewers, and that is for their championship game. It's very specifically tuned. I mean,
I just feel like it would have a better chance than trying to shove women in these other sports.
The overall tournament itself only drew an average of 1.1 million viewers. So
but moving on.
Still more than Batwoman got. We need to let Paul and Kara go.
And
Culture and Kara go. I don't know if Paul's still. Paul, you stay here. You got 6 minutes. Dang it! Everybody's got to leave us, Andre. All right.
I'm sorry. I want to move on, but yeah.
Well, before he goes, Paul's pronouns are grumpy old bastard, according to As is Dead Chicken.
Grumpy. I don't think.
No, I was gonna say those are more closer to mine, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, they're closer to mine as well. I'm not that old just yet.
Is being dead inside the same as being grumpy, though?
No, actually, being dead inside precludes you being grumpy. You don't care. You just don't. I
was gonna say.
I could have used dead inside more often when I was a needy person.
Yeah.
You're still a needy person.
No, the people around you could have used that as well when you were a needy person.
Oh, we know you behind the scenes. You're so.
Yes, you do. That's the secret behind the scenes. I'm an unbelievably needy person.
He's like, as soon as the show goes off, this is why my video really good. You didn't mean that. You just weren't saying that because you were saying it on the show, right?
Yeah. Speaking of videos, everyone should check out the videos from Paul, both the Call Me Chato and Appalling News. Anything in particular you want to highlight?
Nope, I'll have an Appalling News up later on today.
It's probably about Kotaku.
I think this one was actually for Kara because
Sadie it is. Gus is like right here. Hold
right
on.
Now. Yeah, I was gonna say Sadie's not in the room right now. I think she's up on the bed.
Right.
Oh, there's Gus. I love Gus. He's so cute.
Dogs are great.
He's asleep. And then there's lizards.
Aw, poor Gus.
Yep. Better than humans.
I think that's where Sadie's at too. Is it sleep? It must be doggy sleepy time. Because I've said her name like 3 times now, and she's like not showed up. So usually by the 3rd time she's here, so she must be sleeping upstairs. But all right, so then let me double check while you guys are plugging some things here.
Yeah, Kara, where can people find you?
You can find me here on YouTube at Kara_creates. I do a lot of gaming streams. That's kind of my thing. Right now I'm playing Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, and I've been doing some Helldivers on Sunday Funday with the crew. And yeah, that's the main thing is I just game. That's it. And then I pop in and hang out with these guys every once in a while.
Indeed. And we see you on Toxic Femme as well. So thank you so much, Kara, for being here. And we may see you again here real soon. So take care.
Yes. Have a good one, guys.
Feel better, Kara.
All
and of course, Culture. Where can people find you? Had to leave as well, right?
Red Pilled Rant says women's pole vaulting is where it's at, fellas. I think we can agree on that.
Indeed, and believe it or not, I'm not a misogynist. I actually appreciate women's sports, but to pretend like they're gonna make the same amount of money is just silly.
No, I didn't say that, but with the right kind of get behind, I mean, I think women's softball would have a better chance of women's basketball or women's baseball or anything else would.
Women's volleyball is
volleyball is very popular. Tennis is very popular.
Men certainly get behind women's volleyball.
Exactly. Unlimited Power wants you to. I think he wants us to get. Here we go. There we go. Almost missed it. Unlimited Power. Unlimited Power sends in $1.99. Says, I'm only interested in Culture's jiggle physics. Well, the physics are always right on the beard.
That's right.
So,
anyway,
the weave we can't speak for.
Well, yeah, because I donated I donated over a foot of hair. I'm trying to get it to hurry up and grow back. But anyway, check me out on Culture Casino. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, other places. I'm a lot of places, so check me out. But mostly check me out on YouTube. We're headed towards 20K subs. If you are not,
stick around, kids. We got more super chats though.
Yeah. Do check it out. I will be probably making a video on Sweet Stinky Baby or whatever. I love all this new breaking news we found out. That's great.
Yeah, we got some in the super chats here, so yeah, we're gonna have to get to it here.
See you guys later. Love you. Bye.
Because tomorrow we've got that earnings call as well, or not earnings call.
Town hall.
Town hall. Yeah, we have the town hall, which Valiant Renegade will be hosting live, of course. So everyone should check that out. He has already set up the stream. So just head on over to Valiant Renegade and
hit the alert button or whatever.
Yeah. If maybe he'll even.
No, we haven't, Mikey. So if you want to hop in quick, because we could use a specialist if you're not busy, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
But while we're waiting for Michael, we're gonna grab some more of these super chats. Red Midnight Batman sends in a member chat for 10 months. Says, like the great Tolkien said, evil cannot create anything new. It can only corrupt and ruin what good forces have invented or made. Indeed.
Very true.
Angela Richter, holy crap. Thank you so much. Always being so generous with the memberships, gifting another 5 memberships today. Thank you, Angela, for all your gifting.
Yes,
we appreciate it. Dobbin Mogg sends in 10 pounds and says, how DEI gets their foot in the gaming door. You don't want to hire us? Oh dear. It would be a nasty shame if a mob of media types decided to cancel you and your company as nasty istophobes. And exactly that's what happens.
Yeah, pretty much.
We saw the video.
Much. Yeah.
Let's go to the videotape. And Camelbot Killer sends in 5 and says, this video sounds like a Dilbert episode. Ted talks to the manager and evil marketing director to make Dilbert protest white males 1 of 2. Then he comes back with the second one, says, send them to the Ebola country using the Ebonia airlines. These individuals are a shit pushing their ideas on 90% of the population.
Indeed. Yes, and of course Albonia, that's the amazing foreign nation in the Dilbert comics, which were a little bit backwards, let's put it that way.
Bit different than the Ebola virus.
A little bit.
Yes, indeed. And then we got Pilgrim Media in the house. He sends in $2. Says, Andre, I love some Arcoat from Finland.
I've actually seen them in concert. They were at the Inferno Festival a few years back, and I happened to attend that. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I'm not very big into black metal, as is well known. I've actually done some deep dive researching a video, so I've gone into like a black metal journey. But Archcoat I actually knew of before. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Those are from the very early 90s, and then they broke up for a great many years, and then they got back together again. So yeah.
Midnight's Edge Music Review probably should start with a death metal video, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
it's only fitting.
Well, black metal. Death metal is something very different.
Or what do you
Everyone
mean?
in black metal hates death metal.
Well, I don't know the difference. See, that's why I need a video.
Yeah. The difference is if it sounds like a Cookie Monster, it's death metal. If it sounds like a Nazgul, it's black metal.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Jay, holy crap! On top of the $100 super chat, gifted 10 memberships. Holy shit! You are truly the sponsor of the day, my friend.
Indeed.
Wow. STR Red Wolf sends in 5 and says, Sweet Baby Inc. besmirches the good name of Sweet Baby Ray's. That's true and must go. The good of barbecue sauces everywhere. Hear, hear. I second this. Because every time you bring it up, I get hungry. You guys are talking about video games. I'm like, no. I want some barbecue. Gladiator versus Hollywood sends in another 14 South African rands and says, what woke jihadist content did Iger cancel?
The only one we know of is Wonder Man. That's the one and only Wonder Man.
And Gladiator come back to me and behind the scenes and says he thought Wonder Man was shooting. That doesn't mean it didn't necessarily get canceled, though. But yeah,
no, like it never filmed. It was going to, but they but they canceled the whole thing.
They need to cancel the whole lot.
Yeah, they need to cancel a hell of a lot more than that. But they did at least cancel that one, so that's something.
They need to just cancel it.
Yeah.
And then start from scratch. Let's see here. I want to get back to the mod chat in the DM group because we got some super stickers here. One from Big Daddy MRI.
Oh, sorry, yeah. And yeah,
go ahead.
We'll just bring that back up again. I just meant
go ahead because I'm still looking for the chat.
This one. Dr. Coffin says black metal. Don't they burn down churches? Yeah, that's why you've heard about black metal. They did indeed. Yeah.
Where is the? Oh, there it is. Okay. Let's see here. Big Daddy MRI sent us in a super sticker of a pair that says "You are amazing." Well, Sydney Sweeney has an amazing pair, but we have a pair that says "You are amazing."
Fantastic.
Close enough. Kalekioki says, "Where can you find that list? Gone off Reddit now." I believe it's been shared on Twitter.
It in the video that we will be dropping as soon as I've updated the video that I already had recorded, but I'll be updating it now, and you'll find that list in it. Yeah.
Go ahead and take over for a minute, Andrew.
Yeah. And joining us is actually Mike. Hey, Mike.
Yo, sorry I don't have my camera on, but my monitor and camera aren't working, so I'm walking.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm working off the laptop. How do I sound?
You sound perfect. Let's just run through a couple of more super chats, and we'll get into All Matters Disney.
It's a dang it Bob day.
It is indeed. Almost as big a dang it Bob day as tomorrow is going to be. Meanwhile, Big Daddy MRI sent us another super sticker. So thank you so much for that. Glade Riven says for $5, I bet they're putting DEI into AI so they can ditch these sensitivity readers. I think there's many reasons for that. I don't think that it's as simple as that, no, but it would be sweet if that were the case. Big Daddy MRI sent us another super sticker, and Captain Fandom Nerd became a new member. Welcome. And Robert says, Tom, quote, don't fuck a bear. Leo DiCaprio, hold my beer. Yeah.
Oh, no, that bear fucked him. About. Let's make no mistake about it. You watch that video, that bear truly fucked him.
Yeah, and
you'll never fuck a bear.
3000 says for £5. Question: how is it progressive to advocate for an ideology that is almost 200 years old and has never worked? Oh, that's easy. The people ultimately behind it want control, and the people pushing it, the little soldiers, are completely historyless and don't know what they're doing. That's how that happens. And then we got El Turillis, a new member, and Pet Brett also gifted 5 Midnight's Edge memberships. Fantastic, thank you. And then bringing us into Matters Disney here, Dr. Coffinail says most of these companies would need to be cleared out of everyone except the cleaning staff, particularly Disney, to get rid of the wokeness. And yeah, that's particularly rampant within Disney. And speaking of Disney, we have a Disney shareholder here. So how impressed are you with Iger's performance these last few days? Disney shareholder we happen to have on the panel.
Yes, that would be pissed off pissed off no dividend Mike shareholder, Mexican Iron Man, non-YouTuber guy. No, Bob has been, he's already done, he all of his glory came from basically using a credit card to buy different things that propped up the value of Disney. Disney's gains were all anticipatory under Iger, meaning that, hey, we're going to buy Fox, we're going to grow. Hey, we're going to buy Lucasfilm, it's going to be great. Hey, we're going to buy, whether it's the Muppets or Fox or Lucasfilm, Marvel, anything in between, whatever it's been, it's all been anticipatory value, and there's been no execution. Literally, we have a situation where it's Iger the Emperor with no implementation close. And frankly, no implementation staff. And frankly, a horrifically weak board of directors that apparently is a rubber stamp factory. I mean, the Walt Disney Company, if the board of directors do anything, they should be a board, the board of rubber stamps, because that's all they've done is rubber stamp whatever Bob wants to do. And I was already pissed and annoyed at Bob. I'm even more pissed and annoyed from yesterday's Morgan Stanley Dean Witter finance session, because on Monday, On Monday, right after you guys ended the show, is when Nielsen Peltz released his white paper. Okay, it's 130, 140 pages of glorious, of just glorious, amazing writing. That writing came out on Monday afternoon. Very strategic, by the way, because on Tuesday, yesterday, as covered on WDW Pro's channel live, we had a 1 hour Bob Iger, I don't know if you want to call it a town hall meeting, but 1 hour of Bob talking gobbledygook and nonsense. And when the topic of Nielsen Peltz and fixing Disney and allowing Nielsen and the others and other people to come on the board came up, all that Bob Iger did was say that I'm trying not to be distracted by that, because if I'm distracted, everyone that works for me is distracted, and we don't want to be distracted. I'm like, I thought I was listening to a Valley girl from California that happens to be running $1 billion company.
Yeah, that wasn't very impressive.
Andre, you were there live. So let me go back to what Nielsen released. That document did 4 things. Well, let me take a step back. To produce the document that Nielsen Peltz did at Restore the Magic, I encourage all of your listeners watching this right now to go and read this thing. It's actually a pretty easy read. You don't need to be an accountant, you don't need to be a lawyer, and you sure as heck don't need to be an investment banker to get some value out of this document. It's pretty amazing, and it's a pretty good, easy, straightforward read. Putting this together cost literally hundreds of thousands of man hours, money, and time to put this thing together. I have put together smaller decks for mergers and acquisitions. I've been paid upwards on past projects, upwards of $180,000 to put together a due diligence package on a potential merger, or with boards merging, things like that. This hasn't been anything recently. This has been like years ago. And I've never had a really big staff, but what I saw, this document must have cost literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, time, man hours, and the research is impeccable. 4 things stood out. Number 1, Bob Iger is a lying sack of shit. And there are 3 pages of statements from pages 122 to 125, where you can go right to the 122 to 125. You can read about it. On the left side, it says, here's a Disney statement that's been made. And then on the right side is the response of the truth with receipts, by the way. Nielsen brought receipts. The second thing that stood out was that they said that they've had all these meaningful interactions with Trian over the last couple years. Turns out, surprise, there have been no meaningful interactions. There was a 45-minute meeting one time, and no Q&A, and everything else has been email. So when Bob says he doesn't know what Peltz wants, he's a lying sack of horse shit. Third thing that stood out is that these guys did a completely exhaustive review of all facets of the business, exposed the weaknesses, used Disney's own metrics against them, and made a compelling case not only for what's wrong, why it's wrong, but how to fix it strategically and how to fix it tactically, including getting involved in the studios down to basically the Lucasfilm and Marvel levels. That's what the document said, point blank. And the 4th thing that stood out, which kind of was a little bit shocking to me because I didn't really realize this, is that whenever Nielsen made a move on a company and they didn't want him, and like literally, because there's a bunch of companies that Nielsen and Trian have made a move on, and the people that he made a move on didn't want him, a lot like Iger. But what stood out for me, and this is my 4th complaint, or the 4th thing that stood out, were there's sort of 2 aspects to it. One aspect was that no other company refused interaction with Nielsen and his potential board members like Disney has. So Disney and Iger have been more hostile than to Peltz and anyone else than any other company that they've worked with. And the other thing that was really interesting was that they presented receipts of companies that they not only had gone in and got involved with, but they presented receipts as to the financial performance that improved. And guess what, Andre and Tom? There were actually quotes of saying, hey, we're glad he joined the board. The beginning, there's quotes in there where basically he got letters of reference from other companies that they've been working with. So right now, I'm not only dang it, Bob, I'm at a F off Iger. I'm kind of where Elon Musk was on the stage that day. Tomorrow, Nielsen Peltz is going to do his town hall meeting. I'm going to be live on the Valiant Renegade channel. And I'm just, this is a guy who is, I think he's deranged. Bob Iger is mentally deranged and just in la la land. And I don't know what he's smoking. He is in some kind of like lack. here's the one thing about Bob Iger. We know one thing about Bob Iger. Bob Iger will never be AI. You know why, Andre?
Because the AI is just as creative as him, if not more.
No, because Bob Iger can never become AI because Bob Iger will never become self-aware.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a good point.
That was a joke.
Nice one. Yeah. Yeah, no,
Anyway.
But you raise some very, very good points there, and you are, of course, right on absolutely all counts. The white paper document is exceedingly well presented. It's extremely understandable. It dismantles everything that Iger has ever said, and every investor who is at all interested in their own investments really need to vote Bob Iger away. The only thing that I'm surprised at is why Nelson Peltz is still only asking for 2 shareholders, when really he should ask for the eviction of the entire board and replace it with all his own candidates. At least ideally, like have suggestions for all of them, but I guess baby steps would be the way to go. My question is, though, what do you expect of the town hall tomorrow, which would be then Nelson Peltz town hall, in which he is going to humiliate Iger even further?
Well, I think that you've hit the nail on the head, Andre, because this document, there was a line in this document out there was this, I can't remember what page it's on, but there's a point where it says something that we brought our ideas and our analysis to Disney, and now we are making it public, and now we are making this analysis and our strategy public. What that told me is, it didn't say it explicitly, but the implicit message that I got was that this 40 page document has been sitting on Iger and Disney's desk. It's one thing to read what's in this document. If Nielsen goes on Twitter tomorrow or YouTube or wherever he's going to go tomorrow, and I just can't remember where, I think it's going to be on Twitter, but when he all he has to do is read this thing and talk about it, and the video clips are going to be exponential. I mean, I cannot imagine the author of this, Nielsen, and his team going through this. They've done some videos. Jay Rasulu and Nielsen Peltz have done some videos talking about what they want to see at Disney, but they have not gone through the data that's in this report. And this report is absolutely damning. And it's, I'm going to go back to what you said when you were on Pro Show yesterday. The fact that the mainstream financial media, your CNBCs, your Yahoo everybody is ignoring this. There's like a little glossy coverage of it, but nothing real. But it is completely being ignored. So when Nielsen goes live tomorrow, man, I hope he eviscerates Bob Iger, because here's the other thing we learned. Yeah, I didn't know this 2 days ago until I read this thing. Bob Iger's compensation went through the roof on the Fox deal.
Oh, I'm sure it did. It shouldn't have, but I'm sure, do not doubt for a second that it did.
Another $100 million? God, that's insane.
Considering that deal lost them what? Let's see, how much did that lose them, first of all, directly, and then indirectly because of the whole Hulu ordeal, which, so basically he spent like 80 billion on Fox, and he overpaid 20 million or something right there. Right. And then he's going to have to pay another maybe 15, 20 billion for Hulu. So basically, he may have lost the company 50 billion, 30 billion, something like that.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, they've lost on the asset, they've lost on the interest, and that was another thing in the report, that all of these charge card purchases that Iger has done have resulted in no return on investment. And the report basically lays out that the parks are financing everything.
Yeah, that's asking a lot of the parks right there to finance all of that, because that's a lot of extra luxurious spending.
The parks are bringing in more than 1/3 of the total revenue, yet they're providing more than 2/3 of the total profit of the business.
Yeah,
that's
brilliant
insane
stuff. Yeah, it is indeed. So looking forward to tomorrow. And the only thing I'm not looking forward to is the frustration that's going to come from seeing the media, again, not giving this the fair coverage that it needs. Like, for instance, the CNBC have done a very, very good job exposing how Disney, as it is right now, doesn't have a board. Why hasn't anyone else been able to expose that same thing? That is so unbelievable to me.
They don't. And you have to sit back and wonder, what in the hell is it with this company and this guy, Bob Iger in particular? What is it? It's not like the stock has gone up and everybody's profiting from his brilliant strategies, because the highest the stock was under Chapek.
Yeah.
So it's not because it's not because he's making no money on stock value, because I mean, look, I'm one of the morons that bought it, as you know, and I reported on this show. I bought back at 172 to 176 on the way to what I thought was a lot higher. So I'm way upside down right now, and have been forever. So number two, it's not like he's issuing dividends.
That's actually, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but they also showed in this report that if you have invested in Disney the past 10 years, unless you bought one of these 20 days, you have reason to be pissed off because you'll have lost money.
Right. Which that chart of red might as well be called the Mexican Iron Man investment chart, because it's all the red that I'm experiencing, because that literally, I looked at the thing and I'm like, oh, that's me.
Yeah.
So he's not making no money on dividends. He's not making no money on the stock value. And to me, it goes back to what you've discussed with your ESG videos and all your DEI videos, Andre and Tom, all the stuff you guys have done on this channel. To me, Disney is woke ESG patient zero.
They certainly are in entertainment. In entertainment, they are patient zero.
They're absolutely woke patient zero, and they cannot, meaning whoever the hell in finances, like behind all this woke ESG crap, for some reason, because Disney is overinflated as a company in terms of stock value. There's no reason it should be keeping propped up, and there's no reason that there shouldn't be more accountability eyes placed on Bob Iger and this shitty ass board.
Indeed. No, I agree. I agree completely.
Well, and I don't even know if they're necessarily patient zero, but they were definitely the ones to embrace it the hardest and the most.
If not patient zero, they are the battering ram used to.
That's what I mean. Like
everyone else.
As soon as they decided we're going all in on this, so did everybody else, wholeheartedly. But I mean, we had sprinklings and inklings of things prior to Disney, I want to say. But I mean, then again, a lot of stuff retroactively when we look back on it now, right? Like, so.
It is a super spreader. They're not patient zero, but they're the super spreader. Yeah. That is for certain. Yeah. Mike, before we move on with the remaining super chats, anything else you want to add in on All Matters Disney?
Well, look, I think that I think Peltz is going to lose this proxy war in April.
Why do you think that?
Because the mathematical calculation of the number of votes that are needed, I just don't know if this issue has I don't know if there's enough retail investors like me, like Valiant, enough
that
people.
Was my worry.
So here's the thing. There's not enough of us that know that we can vote for change. I know that there's a bunch of people like me, like that we're holding on to the stock for dear life. We simultaneously aren't happy with what this company is, as well as hope that it gets fixed. And I mean, I get hit all the time. People are like, well, why do you follow this stuff? I mean, because I just spent the whole weekend with my 11-year-old. I remember distinctly signing up for Disney Plus, thinking that all the classics would be there. Grandma, my mom would be watching it. I'd be watching it. I'd be watching it with my kid. And you know what? Maybe my kid has kids some days, and we're all enjoying things that I loved when I was 7 to 10 years old. That's why, that's what I wanted, and that's what I'm still hoping for. I think there's a bunch of people out there that aren't happy, but there's not critical mass of people like me that can vote like I can. I mean, look, do I have a lot of shares? No, I got a couple hundred. All right, but whatever. So the thing is like there needs to be tons and tons of people that own 5 shares, 10 shares, 50 shares, 200 shares, whatever, that are able to cast their vote so that we can join with Nelson in his proxy battle and effect change. What's going to end up happening is that all the institutional investors, you can see this by the news coverage, are lining up behind Iger. Yesterday convinced me of that, and that he's ignoring Iger's ignoring Peltz, and this thing's going to go away, and Peltz is going to lose. But I think Peltz, as I read this document, what I would do is I would come back harder and stronger, just like he did a year ago when he walked away. Now he's coming back stronger. If I were Peltz, I'd come back. If I lose this round, I would come back. If he loses in April, and look, I hope he wins. I really do. But if he loses, I hope he comes back bigger, harder, stronger with either a shareholder lawsuit, and or this time asking for 4 to 5 board members. And as a significant stockholder, you know what I would do if I were him? I would not only do a class action suit, I would ask for a new independent auditor to replace PricewaterhouseCoopers and get some fresh eyes in there. Because if Bob Iger has nothing to hide, then we should not be using the same accounts from 1937 or 38, whenever they hired him, all the way to now. No one does this. They've had the same independent accountant from 1938 all the way to now. And that tells me that there's bodies and bones that are buried and hidden. And I want to go find out where they are. And I want Nielsen to push the lever to make it happen.
Indeed, those are some excellent thoughts there. We look forward to seeing how this develops, and we will, of course, be following it further. Until then, though, we have a couple of more super chats to go through here. Rambam 3000 says for £5, look up the book by social psychologist Jonathan Haidt, The Coddling of the American Mind. Yeah, I've heard about this one before. I think that should be interesting even to non-Americans, because the same things would apply. At least much the same things. Chaos Sonic 1 says for $2. Breaking news: Warner Brothers is shutting down Rooster Teeth. That's some anime stuff or something? Mike, you know? I've heard the name Rooster Teeth every once in a while.
I don't know what that is. Should I know?
I think they're like an anime thing.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. Either way, it's probably not a big loss for humanity.
Headline: Rooster Teeth shut down by Warner Bros. Discovery. The Roost Podcast Network will continue. Rooster, is this the Halo one?
Podcast Network?
I don't know. I'd have to read about it.
Well, we'll have to get back to it, because we don't have anyone on the panel who can discuss this in any detail. But thanks for the insight. And Jay, still the sponsor of this episode, sends another $5. I need to add something else. Obamacare kicked in during that time and caused wait times to go through the roof. It made the psych patients worse. Yeah, I don't know how much good came out of that thing. I don't have any personal experience, but I've heard nothing but horror stories myself. But that's just me. And Doug 1985 VA Loves Horror says has been a member for 8 months, and he says, when I was in Afghanistan, we were getting hit with mortars. I was freaking out. An Australian soldier calmed me down by saying, if it hits us, it hits us. Yeah, that's a very real situation you got there, but unfortunately, kind of right. Like, just mentalize. I don't know what else there is to do in such a situation, and thanks for your service. Chaos Sonic also says for $5, David Zaslow to me is a saint compared to Iger, because Zaslow knows where to cut the bloat of this company. Yeah, Rooster Teeth exactly. Would be one of those. Yeah,
like that's my thing. Is like, is he perfect? No. Is he a creative? Fuck no. But what he is right now is what Hollywood needs. And this kind of reminds me of when we've talked about Tom Rothman, because we've brought up how he was the worst thing to ever happen to Hollywood, especially 20th Century Fox. But he came in and he saved Sony. And what worked was his mentality that he had before, but putting it towards this company now when they were at the worst place they have ever been. And it really mainly just worked for him at this point because the superhero movie craze was on the way out. And he's somebody who can't stand those fucking things. And when something like Madam Web happens, you can almost guarantee we're not going to get a Madam Web 2. Right? And he's not going to spend, and then to him, he's going to turn around and go, okay, well, if you have another one of these female superhero thingies, kill it.
Yeah.
Done. We're done. We're not doing this shit no more. And I've said this before. I think the only one of those Spider-Man projects that we've gotten announced that is actually going to happen is going to be the Spider-Man Noir one. And I think that's because they've actually started talking to Nicolas Cage finally after the fact.
And also Amazon is paying for it. That
exactly. And I think the reason that was is because Tom Rothman said, get Nicolas Cage or somebody in there who's smart enough to go, wait, you're doing this without Nicolas Cage? You're dumb. Because even though I don't like the Spider-Verse thing, I'm not dumb enough to go, look, that's money in the bag, man. Yeah. Right? So, yeah.
Indeed. So yeah, kudos to Zaslav.
I don't know if he's really ruining Sony.
Hollywood needs.
Sony's actually been the comeback kid. They don't, you know what Sony has that nobody else, that everybody else is dealing with right now? They don't have a fucking streaming service that's failing.
Sony is doing fine.
Exactly.
Sony is doing fine. Yeah, they are. Completely.
If worse comes to worse, just simply because they're breaking even and they don't have a streaming service that's costing them a bunch of money.
Yeah. And Marksman of 117B wonders, Tom, did you get his DM about Short Fat Tutaku?
I did. I'll see if I can try to reach out to him. I don't know if I've heard the name before, but yeah, we'll see what we can do. It's always one of those things that we can try to reach out, and if they get back to us, we'll definitely have them on. In fact, I've got some announcements for guests we're going to have next week.
And he also says, Phase 2 of Gamergate 2.0 has started. Chills are up. Yeah. And Tom, can you do the next one? I just got to something here.
Sure. Marksman117B says Phase 2 of Gamergate 2. Oh, you already said that one. Let's see here. We got Adam Wolford, who says got volleyball from DOA. Got OF. I'm not sure what he means. There's something about jiggle physics in there. Hell, even my wife watches women's volleyball and women's tennis. It's far more entertaining. Yeah, this was meant for culture. Sorry about that, Adam. But yeah, I agree. There's potential in women's sports, but they have to gear the sports towards women and stuff that guys want to actually watch women do, right? Like that's the number one thing. Wouldn't you say, Mike? Especially as it's more of the sports.
Yeah, I watch tons of sports. I'll tell you this much: women don't care about women's sports. If they did, then the WNBA wouldn't be losing so much money.
No, but men enjoy certain sports played by women. So yeah, I don't know. If
yeah, I mean, good. Yeah, look, Mexican Iron Man is always down for front row tickets at the beach volleyball competition in Malibu. Tom and I will be front row providing commentary live.
Mike admires the women who can be sporting.
Yep. Mexican Iron Man can also grade the fashion as well. Tom, I said, Tom, I think she's wearing a size 6. She probably could have done an 8. Might have looked a little better because,
You're double threat.
Yeah, we got a little crackalicious going on.
Yeah. On that note, ActionCom says underrated sports beauties. Women's curling. Yes.
I would be the colored commentator. Get it?
Ooh, boom. Chris K says, hail to the panel regarding therapy. I suggest a single malt scotch and a cigar at sunset. Well, I wouldn't suggest anybody take up drinking, but I mean, in most cases, a lot of people just need to rub it off or shake it off. And like Kara said, rub some dirt in it, move on. Rabbit chickens don't even have heads. Think about that. You could go through life without knowing which end was up and down. See? Exactly. Andre, are you here? No, he's not here yet. But yeah, somehow Andre fell into the kiss. To the kiss what do you call it? Rabbit hole. I don't know what prompted it, but yeah, we'll ask him about that when he comes back. Accident Seller sends in 15 Norwegian krona, says, I love women's diving, but the lower third scoreboard graphics get in the way when the girls are getting back up from the pool. Yes, they need to think about these things. The male gaze, I mean, the cinematography is important. Eclipse War. Are you back, Andre? Or?
Yeah, I'm back again.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're about to read this one here. Eclipse Warlord says, hello there. I'm no longer able to listen live due to work. Sorry to hear that, Eclipse Warlord. Missed a member stream due to hardware issues. Oh, no. We'll watch replays when able. Well, hopefully.
Oh, we'll have a new one soon.
Hopefully you hear this. Yeah, because we're going to try to do it on the last weekend of the month every month. So that's our plan. And as you were gone, Josh Hammond was making fun of you for falling down the Kiss rabbit hole.
Yeah, I was listening to Kiss earlier today, actually, because I've never really listened to Kiss before. Like, there's some amazing songs in there. And now I'm also discovering Megadeth. It's so much better than.
Yeah, Megadeth's great.
It's awesome.
You know what I should do? I should send you my preferred playlist of Kiss songs because there's a lot of garbage, but they got some bangers in there.
Yeah, among their 20 albums, of course, it's going to be a little bit of a.
Well, no, but I mean, there's some pretty good shit in there that people. Everybody's heard Rock and Roll All Night, but
yeah, that's
there's Hard Luck Woman. There's some other stuff in there that not everybody knows.
Black Diamond was pretty.
Black Diamond's a great one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about overrated, but they're overexposed. That's for sure. But yeah, best Megadeth album, Countdown to Extinction.
Yes,
Ugh.
I love it. I'm listening to it right now.
That was the first CD I ever listened to. Like the first time I ever heard actual, like, sat down and somebody said, here's a CD, put it in. All of a sudden here, it's like, holy shit.
I remember the cover from when it came out, but the first time I listened to it ever, last Thursday. Awesome.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Wow, that's a classic. Bat Tom actually sang that song once for karaoke. It was quite enjoyable.
Moving on.
Yes, indeed. Tennille says, Mike, a board of enablers. Yes.
Yeah, it's true. Very apt. That's exactly what it is.
And then Tennille says, I think Tom's idea of Sad Affleck-esque video for Bob Iger got sung by Goofy would be a good fit. Yeah. Hello, darkness, my old friend. They've come to talk with you again. The Captain's Log sends in $4.99. He's come to talk to us again. Says, can someone shut Denny up? His dialogue comment was dumb, i.e. Pulp Fiction, Jaws, and the whole we need more powerful women in Dune. Just dumb stuff. Look, I had my... Where did I explode on Denny? Was it on Mr. H's yesterday?
It was on... well, it was... It started on our stream on Monday, and I'm still going to clip that, and then you followed it up on Mr. H. Yeah,
I did have a moment on Toxic Femme too. I do remember that because I listened to the girls just go on and on for about 30 minutes about how beautiful the movie and all this stuff was, and I'm like, Denny Villeneuve is a fucking overrated hack.
I want you to know that I heard you, Tom, yesterday on Mr. H show as I was driving from a client.
I saw the comments.
And I want you to know, Tom, that although I almost put you on social media probation, I still love you.
I'm looking back at this guy's, I'm thinking back at the movies I watched of his, and I'm like, I ain't liked a single one of those bastards. In fact, Arrival really pissed me off.
Truth comes out.
I enjoyed the movie, and then all of a sudden it goes into this time travel bullshit. I'm like, what the fuck? And to me, that when you do that at the end of a movie with some stupid... There's 2 or 3 things you can do at the end of a movie that make me feel like you're one of the most pretentious fucking storytelling / directors in the world, Kubrick wannabes. And that's either a time travel ending. It was me all along, meaning, there's all these different characters and you find out it's all one person all along. And it's all in their head. Those 2 things are like the 2 most overused, dumb concepts I've ever seen, or the Fight Club thing, which is similar to the one I just said. But yeah, point being... Denny is not as great as everybody's making him out to be. Sure, Dune deserves some awards and stuff like that, but it's a horrible adaptation. It looks pretty, but it's a bad.
I believe I said even at the time after I saw his first Dune the first time that it was a tad on the pretentious side. I do stand by that. But moving on here, Adam Wofford also says for $5, Rooster Teeth made Red vs. Blue Halo fan series. Also, they made Rowdy. Each member's first letter makes up name. High School Monster Killer Show. Thanks for that information and all these other names of things I have never heard anything about. But
yeah,
we'll do our research and get back into it.
Well, and here's the thing is, and this is where going back to like the whole thing with Warner Animation right now is, I don't even think Zaslav had anything to do with killing the Acme Coyote project. I think it was the new animation head because they got a new director of animation here like this last year. So I think that's where they're doing a lot of house cleaning and all that business. Because that was one of the things that I forgot all about it, but then it was reminded of last night was like James Gunn was one of the writers on that Coyote versus Acme movie, and him and Zaslav are pretty buddy. So if anybody could save that movie, it would be him, I would think. And I don't see him out there trying.
Because guess what? Man first.
Guess who else wrote that movie? The people who've written really crappy shit like Moon Knight. And I can't remember some of the other garbage that we went through last night, but it was just all garbage. And we're like, oh, no wonder this movie sucks. It was just like, ugh. Yeah. Anyway.
And Tennille89 has questions for Mike, saying for $10. Mike, I think it's also about what he represents to extremists. As a clumsy analogy, some have an unhealthy fixation on Trump, but for the woke, it's Iger, and the extremists think they're infallible.
Oh yeah, you get a lot of this. Yeah.
Yeah. What say you, Mike?
I think Tennille's right. I think it's not about Bob's performance. It's about what Bob might represent to them. I think that's a well crafted opinion by Tennille.
Absolutely. And he concludes, Mike's best math is always in service to poops.
Yes, while some might want to calculate the square root of the hypotenuse, Mexican Iron Man is able to calculate the square root of the boobalus. So, the boobaliciousness. Yeah.
Yeah, you see there, that's
boobaliciousness
practice right there. Yeah.
I got a late piece of breaking news here from our good friend Jonas J. Campbell. It's nothing we need to talk about at length. Just wanted to share it to you, which is that he just posted on Twitter. Bob Iger's $1.5 billion in Epic Games equity just win the war with Apple again. From the Epic Games newsroom, Apple has terminated our developer account, and now we cannot develop Epic Games Store for iOS.
What reason did they do that?
We don't know. Don't know. There's a statement here. I don't know. I haven't read the statement yet.
Why would Apple terminate their account? Like, because Disney and Apple are all like this makes. I need some context here.
To me, this sounds like an automated bullcrap thing. Actually,
I don't know. Anyway, just want to share it because he sent it. Well, he knows we're live, so he sent it. So
if he can hop in and give us some insight, that'd be great. But otherwise, we need to keep trucking along here. We got this one we got already. But yes, Mike knows the boob circumference. Chaos Sonic 1 says with $5, Mike, I agree with you that if Peltz loses, he will hit harder later on, and he will come back stronger. What is that? Is he calling you right now?
Yeah. Hold on.
Answer him and tell him he's on the show.
You know, I'm live on Midnight's Edge. Say hi.
I'm going to answer the question, and that's because a few years ago, Epic Games decided to do an end run around the Apple Store with Fortnite. So when you went to make purchases of V-Bucks, you didn't have to. They put a link in the game to bypass the Apple Store and go pay directly to Fortnite to get rid of the Apple tax. Because it was so big, Apple kicked them off the platform, which is why they don't make Fortnite for Mac anymore. You have to do it through Microsoft, Xbox, their online thing, or you have to do it through the Amazon thing. So that's how I play it on Mac. So what they finally done is they terminated their developer contract with Apple, since Apple had already terminated them from being able to be available on the iOS platform, the mobile phone platform. So I figured once Disney got in, they would try to mend those fences, but that was kind of funny.
So Iger couldn't even get that right.
Can you even hear him? I don't know.
Andre said Iger couldn't even get that right.
No, apparently not. $1.5 billion. That's why I was like, oh, that's cute. I mean, they just put $1.5 billion into Fortnite. And I thought maybe that would help mend the fences between them and Apple. Not that Epic would ever. I don't think Epic wants to work with Apple anymore, but they didn't expect to get their entire developer status revoked for Mac altogether, for iOS at least. So they can't even make any other mobile games. I don't know, but I found that a little odd. But yeah, right now Apple's under investigation with the EU because of that, and the unfair trade practices. So good luck with that, Apple.
It's also really good timing in conjunction with the Peltz roundtable tomorrow. So yeah, couldn't have come at a better time.
Can you do a plug for our show tomorrow? VR, do a plug for our show tomorrow.
Oh yeah, the town hall with Restore the Magic tomorrow. Yeah, that's at 12:30 Eastern.
Yeah. That's the second plug for the show today, straight from Valiant Renegade himself this time. So yeah, of course, be there, and with any luck, I'll be there too.
All right, bro. Thanks so much. We're gonna sign off.
Take care.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Valiant Renegade live from the field on Midnight's Edge special correspondent.
Fantastic stuff. And we got a couple of more super chats in the meantime here. Chaos Sonic says, Mike, I agree with you that if Peltz loses, but he will hit harder later on, and he will come back stronger. He is like the man too stubborn to quit. Yeah, I hope so. And he better with all the money he has invested in Disney right now. Jason Webster says for $10 Australian, loving the remake of Shogun, the exquisite production design, atmospheric cinematography, and the political maneuverings between Lord Tarunaga and Ishido. Hiroyuki Sanada is great as Toranaga. Yeah, I can't wait to see this thing. I haven't had time to see it yet, but
It's
will catch up
outstanding.
soon.
It's outstanding.
Yeah,
I've been wanting to watch
believe
the
that.
original adaptation first, but that's like 9 hours in and of itself. So yeah, it's
Exactly, yeah. So I look forward to seeing this and to get caught up on it inside the next week or two, so I can follow the conversation here. But thanks for that and for the support. Chaosonic also says Rooster Teeth's failure started ever since they fired Mick Mignogna for the false sexual accusation from Jamie Marchi, basically a Johnny Depp situation. Okay. So it's that as well. Yeah, there we go. The stuff that you can't.
Yeah, that was my recollection of Rooster Teeth when the name was brought up. I knew it had something to do with anime because I thought they redubbed a bunch of anime stuff over here or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And with that, we are actually fully caught up. Yes, we are. So I would again like to plug Valiant Renegade. Everyone check out Valiant Renegade stream tomorrow. That is going to be amazing live coverage of the Nelson Peltz event. Also check out the panelists for today's show. Check out Cultured Casino. Check out Paul Chato and his appalling news as well. Check out Mike, the Mexican Iron Man, and of course Carolyn, who also joined in here. Links to all of them will be in the description. Mike, anything else you wish to plug or highlight on the way out?
I'll just be on Doomcocks later tonight as usual around 8 o'clock Eastern.
Awesome. Give him my regards. I was supposed to, give him my regards. So,
he always asks about having you on, but I'm like, dude, Doomcocks. It's like 3 a.m. for Andre. I mean, it's gotta be like, right? Isn't it like 4 a.m. your time?
I have to do the exact calculus, but it's late. Put it that way.
I think his Andre's getting better. It's pretty. His Andre's impersonation is getting better.
Oh, cool! I can't wait to hear it. So yeah, but if I should happen to be awake, I'll reach out to you.
All right, I'll send you a link.
Yeah, excellent. All right, take care. And Tom, anything else we should plug about? Oh, there's a dog in the background.
Yes, actually, we have 2 big guests coming next week. But before I get into that, because I've for some reason been I don't know where it came from. In the last week, at least 4 or 5 people have asked me if I collect figures. And I do. It's obvious. Like I have, as Mikey will tell you, too many. But I wanted to show these to Andre because I think he thinks these are interesting. Entertainment Earth is, if you want to get some of these, I can get you links where you can actually help us out. But they have new versions. The new Origins figures are the Filmation cartoon Masters Universe figures. Thought you might find those interesting.
Nice. Very nice. I always prefer the Filmation design ones.
Tila.
Oh, wow.
Player's really bad right now. Sorry.
Very cool.
It's that time of the day. And of course, Skeletor. And it pisses me off because I said I'm not buying any more He-Man toys.
Dude, they look great. They look great. The color is right.
And that's why I had to get them. And I just got
the color. The color of those looks perfect.
Interesting that it says cartoon and not Filmation.
Yes, you noticed that too. And like the one that really impressed me was they actually got Beastman's head like it is in the actual cartoon and not the toy. So that was a big deal for me too.
As it should be.
Yeah. So yeah. No, I just thought I'd show you those off. But we have 2 big guests coming on next week. Friday. We're gonna have Eric July here. We're gonna talk about his new stuff coming out. And then next Wednesday, so before we have Eric, this is why I saved it, because it's a big announcement. Dean Cain himself, Superman, will be here.
Yeah,
Wednesday the 13th.
That's going to be fantastic.
Yay! He's got a new book out and it looks freaking awesome. I haven't bought it yet.
We're going to talk about it. Exactly.
Dude, I was in the car when he was on Geeks. I can't wait to learn about his new book. It looks pretty exciting. Mike, how does one stuff a rabbit chicken? Well, rabbit chickens aren't really made for stuffing. They're made for eating and grilling. and they're more for like rabbit chicken wings. Tom, I'm sure you can provide more detail on that.
They're made for eating. They're perfect for eating. They got extra legs and wings, kids.
Yeah.
And they're all
both your tacos and burritos will be so much better with rabbit chicken meat inside.
No head or butt to deal with.
Yep.
All the goodness you need.
Yep.
And I believe Gabe will also be joining us, Gabe Taib, on that day as well, with Dean Cain to talk about that book. So yeah, hopefully we see you guys here. And Mikey, where did you get that again? I forgot where you said you got that.
I got it from some store. They now sell them on Amazon, but originally I got this one on Etsy. But you can now buy these at Amazon.
That's what I thought it was Etsy.
I got 4 of them.
It is rabbit chicken season again.
Yeah. Mike, how many Alfs have you gotten sent over the last year?
I have so much Alf shit downstairs in 2 big boxes. I've got 2 Alf dolls, 2 Alf puppets. I got God knows how many action figures. I've been sent. Someone sent me an Alf series DVD set. Someone else sent me Alf. I have Alf pajamas that someone sent me.
I want pajamas.
I have an Alf comic book that I think.
What?
Yeah, it's.
I got sent a Elf game. I'm not sending you. I mean, I'll eventually get to you at some point.
Okay, keep it. I would have burned it, but I don't have a. Someone spent good money on all this stuff. I don't have the heart to throw any of it away.
No, of course.
No, keep it for me.
Now, here's the thing, Mike. You are going to be the owner. You're already well on your way, but give it time, and you are going to be the owner of the most comprehensive collection of Alf memorabilia on the planet.
I'm just pissed that Shout Factory has a deal with him right now, and Shout can suck a dick. But anyway,
that sucks. That's the worst thing ever. That sucks.
I still can't believe
the whole
they
room for that,
canceled
like
me.
the Alf room.
Still can't believe they canceled me. But anyway, yeah, I'll send the Elf stuff, guys. We'll definitely have an Elf room once we get the. If we ever get to the compound.
Yeah.
Set up.
Dungeon Master Blaster, I am not starting a museum. I see you in chat, Dungeon Blaster.
We will have an Elf museum.
Yes. Mike has a big house. He has a room for that.
Chaos Sonic says, can rabbit chicken poison Elf? I know he eats cats. He probably would use a rabbit chicken for bait.
That's not a bad idea.
Elf has basically ate so many things. I don't think anything could kill him.
What about if I put a chainsaw on
He has
it?
multiple stomachs as well.
I'm still looking for that magic moment where Mike admitted his love of Alf, just to save that for posterity. Yeah.
Well, what's funny is I think the individual who sent him the box set has like been requesting reviews for a while. So eventually I'm going to have to force Mike to watch a few episodes.
Oh, yeah,
there was no name on it.
What happens is what'll happen is he'll end up starting to like it.
That's impossible. I had that shit on the TV when I was a kid. No, Andy, you're too busy. No, all right. Thanks for the show. Bye, everybody. Gotta go.
No, we need a dual sculpture of Mexican Iron Man and Alf locked in embrace. That's what we need.
Oh, we're gonna do some shipping here, huh?
We're gonna have so much fun. Anyway, be sure to check back later. We will have a video dropping. I just have to update it in light of recent news, so it's going to be a few hours, but check back later. And of course, tomorrow, do check out our very good friend Valiant Renegade. And also later, check out Doomcock, another good friend who I've been meaning to do something with, but I haven't had the time. But if I should happen to be awake, I'll do my best to pop in one of these days. So yeah, I love Doomcock. All right, and with that, it is time for some koalas in the rain.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given.